Hello.
We're starting early because that way I
Yeah.
don't make the mistake of starting late.
All
Oh,
right.
did I catch you by surprise? It's okay. I planned on like sharing this year's screen anyways because I want to do some work while I'm
Chatting.
or whatever this is. Yeah.
So I suppose you probably saw Anthony's neutral ground.
No, actually, one of the things that happens on the weekend is that if there's any drama with people whose names I don't remember, I get to catch up on it so that I can forget it in 7 days.
Oh, okay.
Now, I don't know what that sounds like to you, um, but okay. So this is going to sound stupid because so many people are known by so many different names. Who's Anthony?
Dark gift.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. I was just on there with him on his thing before. What am I walking into at the moment?
I think the highlight was that Finity and Vic King were on the same show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is that weird? Because I've seen them on the same
Oh,
show before.
they didn't like each other. Honestly, I think they hashed it out, and I was thinking to myself, if those two can,
Oh, yeah. So that must be the somebody high fived each other before they went to bed or something like that.
I don't know. All I know is
That's
that if those two can work things out, then it's all
then
this
why can't Russia and Ukraine?
right.
Okay.
Exactly. I
No,
just
that's cool. I'm glad that's I mean that's good news, of course.
well, yeah. I just
And
think of if they can let things go, then any of this petty
I
shit
didn't
could go away.
realize that was happening. Dark Gift puts his stream up,
Yeah.
and he has the StreamYard link right at the top. And this is something that happens to my brain, probably because it's slowly coming to terms year by year that I might be the old guy in the club. But when I see one of those links at the top that's pinned to the top, in fact, I'll do it right now if it's since I'm since I'm talking about it.
Yeah.
You know what? One of the things that really sucks is that you can't pin it to the top in StreamYard. You have to go to YouTube and do it.
Oh, yes.
Because I figured if he can take the risk and have all those people come in, then why don't
Right.
I try it? Because I can quit the thing anytime I want to.
I just thought, if those two can work things out and bury the hatchet on petty shit, then anybody can.
I don't know what it is, so I can't say whether it's petty or not. Honest to God,
Oh, it's
right
petty.
now,
It's
at what are we at here? At 3 minutes and 13 seconds. I'm just following Dark Gift and pinning the StreamYard link to the top of the
yeah.
chat because I feel like taking a risk. I
Well,
mean,
they
there
also
there are some people out there that will do anything for likes, and I'm one of
yeah.
those people that will do almost anything for likes.
Well,
Did you get
I
that
guess
winky
so.
winky nudge nudge out of
No,
it?
you ain't getting nothing from me.
The winky winky nudge nudge. Like, did you get it? I mean, it didn't go over your head.
No, no, no.
Now,
I
when I
couldn't.
start when I start inking this '64 Buick Riviera, I'm gonna really have to use the
Are you
light
gonna? Is
tool.
this gonna be a black and white comic? Or are you gonna color it?
Dude, I don't know. I honestly don't, because there are times in here. I might as well, since you're here, I might as well pull them up. It's so weird. I'm working on a new monitor, and it's kept me down here working on this thing, which is great. On one hand, it's great because it's keeping me on what I want to do. On the other hand, it feels like a strange addiction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is it's both. It's good and bad. Um, and I don't have time to do any of them. Let's see where my issue one pages. All right, I'll show you the last thing that I did. I think this is the thing that I colored. Yeah, I tried coloring some of this page in Clip Studio. and I've been getting used to the perspective rulers and all of that. But I also want to go back and do some traditional stuff on comic book pages.
As long as you don't do that weird ass AI art.
No. Yeah, I can't do that. In fact, let me switch this over to
Scared us of
something
having
cool. All right.
12 toes and a hook growing out of his hand instead of the hook being something separate.
I haven't. I know there are people who. I shouldn't say this. Like there's. I won't say there's a skill level to it because I've not done it to know that one exists. But there is. So there are people who understand it better than others. They're better users versus artists. I mean, if you're gonna honestly, you can only put the moniker to one of the two people. You cannot put the moniker of artist to the person using the AI artist because the AI is the artist. The AI is the one doing the work. And in
Right,
it's
so
like
that's not
art.
then.
It's art by way of firestorm. There's two consciousness. Wait, there are two consciousnesses working at the same time. And I'm pretty sure this is not how Firestorm works. I know there's free will on two halves, but the computer's doing the work and the person giving the commands or whatever. There's a concept, and then there's the work.
Well, I just
someone else is here. Someone else is watching. I know it because there's a little eyeball there that tells me. Oh no, that's me. Me twice. Apparently.
I just don't think it's art because they're taking shortcuts is what they're doing.
Well, yeah, and there's no. I mean, on the same problem showed up whenever, like computer graphics. Literally, what I'm doing right here, it's not real art. You know, it's not physical graphite on paper. It's not paint from a paintbrush. You know, but at the same time, Andy Warhol for I don't appreciate the artwork that he does, but I do understand where he was coming from, which is commercial art and communication art has the same disciplines that actual art does. I actually give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
All right.
Sorry about that. There's a fridge in the other room that was calling to me.
Want to get a beer?
It's like we're like 1:45 in the morning. 1:45 in the morning is nothing to me. I would be on my way home from work right now, which means I should be up for another 2 hours. I'm not saying I'm gonna be. I should be.
Well, I think
okay, so let's see. I'm gonna share another file. Yeah, one. I saw a something that happened in Congress today that reminded me of. Yeah.
Hey, that dude finally became Speaker of the House after 13
It actually has to do with that. I heard about what was going on with the fight.
There was an actual fight.
Yeah, close. It's kind of like the fight that I got in high school where there was like almost a fight, but the teacher stepped in. Nobody ever wants to fight. I mean, I didn't want to fight. It was one of those things where somebody, there was a protocol.
Who initiated the fight?
What I mean? Like you have, what, the one that I was quote almost in?
No,
and here, who initiated it? That would have been like a Matt. I wouldn't say Matt Gaetz. The situation did. What up?
Hey guys.
Hello. Okay, let's see.
Hey, Rosetta.
Let me see if I can find this.
I just showed your husband a couple of things from my Redbubble store.
No. It's gonna be.
I
Oh my
heard you
God!
had
I
one.
can't even get around in my own damn computer. Okay.
I have to take care of Mom's in winter, and Steve has to go back and work and take care of the house. So I have to spend a few months away from my hubby.
Oh, that sucks. Unless you enjoy that kind of thing.
No,
No. Okay.
we're happy for each other.
That's. I actually I kind of dropped the ball. I got wrapped up into the stuff that I work on when I'm not at work. All happens on one floor of the house, and she was on the other floor of the house, watching football. Last couple of weeks, it's Christmas. She works at a chocolate shop, so there's been a lot of, overtime and things like that. And I've been the one that's been taking care of the laundry, cleaning the house, and stuff like that for before the holidays. And today, I got to stay down here and do my thing, and I saw her come up and down the stairs a couple of times with laundry baskets. I meant to spend more time with her than I did, but I ended up on stream with some people that I had not talked to in forever. And we had been trying to get together and hang out. So, take a risk. My Sketchbook 340, take a risk means put the link out to the stream to every damn person.
Oh,
That
hey,
happens.
Sketch, what's up?
So, it's pinned at the top if you feel like coming in. Don't be an asshole. Don't try to take over.
Okay, sorry. Never mind. Maybe I should go.
No. Well, I don't know which one of those. I don't know which one of those you're not able to do. But anyways, my point being, a long time ago, this photo at the bottom, this is the Ukraine Parliament, and it was considered to be a photograph that is the use of the it's called the golden proportions, the golden rectangle, a Fibonacci sequence, the same thing that you see in nature in a nautilus shell and other places. If you're familiar, it is a golden rule of composition in art. And somebody had snapped this picture on the bottom of let's see if you can see my pointer. Yeah. So anyways, this is supposed to be this photo on the bottom, a perfect composition caught in time, snapped by a photographer. And I thought, well, there was a fight in Congress today. How do we measure up? So I applied the same rule, and I see that we're sorely lacking.
No, I gotta admit, our Congress is kind of pansy when you compare it to the parliaments in several countries, because those parliaments, they're the kind of people who'll be sitting there going, my worthy opponent. Oh,
no. I understand that. Like, let's say again, our friends down, our friends down here in Worthy, Ukraine. Everyone say hey to Professor German. Everyone down here in Parliament, in the Ukraine Parliament from years ago, there are fists out. You can see it's almost like a Renaissance painting of the Last Supper. If somebody was choking the person who was serving the food, all of their hands are pointed towards, and you can see how it is up here. Not so much, not a lot of action. The composition isn't quite right. There's some empty spaces where they shouldn't be. And I just thought that if Congress is going to try to be on the world stage and as popular as Ukraine, they could try a little harder. Try to be these guys right here. Throw some actual fists.
Get in some fights. Come on.
Exactly.
I didn't even see one bloody nose.
Stand on the X on the stage. Know your place. You know what I mean? Like this is really good direction. This is really good choreography right here. Up here, not so much. I mean, the color correction isn't even really that good.
Nope.
No, exactly. So that's what I was saying. Like they might just try a little bit harder. We know you don't know how to pass laws. We know that you're going to take an incredibly long time to pick a speaker who isn't worth.
At least make it entertaining.
Yes.
Yeah, and
I'm
this
talking
right
about
here,
WWE style like fights on the Senate
Exactly.
Yeah,
floor.
right.
this right here, this is
People's
like
elbow.
a 1990s straight to video action film. This
Yeah,
right
right.
here, this is Die Hard.
Bar fight.
It's a good bar fight. But
Can you imagine like a politician doing like a wrestling style promo, like they have their time on the floor, like
Yeah.
that's it. This Sunday, Hell in the Cell, you and me.
Imagine
oh my god, I
Hulk
can't
Hogan.
believe it's here.
Listen here, brother. Ripping the microphone out of someone's hand.
Sketchbook has a point on the last comment.
Yeah, expert. The link is at the top if you feel like it, man.
Also,
Yeah,
I
they're
I
right.
did-
They would
I just-
totally break a hip.
You
I
guys
did just
do.
want to say one thing though. Hi, Eagle Rider. I haven't talked to you in a
Hi.
while.
I'm
I caught
trying to
part of
remember
the beginning
you.
of your story.
That's
Um,
not the way.
Just germs, but you're not. Don't worry about it. It's no big deal.
That's not the way to impress anybody, Eagle Rider. I gotta say.
No, I have
haven't
memory
talked to her in,
issues.
like, a year.
Everyone knows
Yeah.
I have memory issues. So
Yeah.
that when I'm
Whereas-
trying to remember my name, it's really
It's all right.
difficult.
Last time we were
Oh, I'll
talking,
put it this way, Eagle
I
Rider.
said-
Your forgettability is unforgettable.
last time we were talking, I said buffalo, and you're like, it's bison. I was like, oh,
No,
right.
it's Buffalo.
Okay, so wait, did I meet you with the group I kind of quit talking to?
Yes.
Because they went all crazy and weird on me really quickly.
Yep. I stopped talking.
Oh,
This is gonna happen. Right here.
Okay. I
Is this
know.
gonna happen?
I remember you.
It's gonna happen
Let's-
right
You,
here.
you weren't
That's
there
what
for all
says-
their crazy shit on me though,
No,
so
but
you're good.
Let's just leave it right there. Yeah.
No, that's
further-
what
Hey,
you were. I'm just
Yeah.
clarifying to this panel. You weren't there when they went all weird on me, so you're cool.
gotcha. But yeah, I definitely remember talking to you. But hi. I hope
Hi.
everything's good for you. I caught a little bit of the beginning story, something about you having to take off for like 6
I'm
months or
actually
something.
at my mother's place right now. My husband's going home tomorrow to take care of our house and work and stuff. Basically, because we lost Dad last year, Mom can't handle being alone with her medical in the winter in the mountains.
Gotcha.
So I have to be here.
Got to make sure you take care of your own. I understand.
Is that is that like a weather thing? Joints lock up.
Well, I mean, you got the combination of things. We're in the middle of nowhere. It's very difficult to get out and get resources and do errands and stuff.
But you
You've
have
got
internet, and we all
yes,
know how important that is.
we do. But if something happens, she's not going to be able to dig herself out. If storms happen, she's not going to be able to go anywhere for a long time. She's got breathing problems, some body issues and stuff, and she's still got a lot of shoulder and back issues from having a tumor removed from her spine a few years ago, and then like a year or so later, falling on the ice and dislocating both shoulder blades and breaking the ball joint and what. So she's not handling being alone in winter well. She tried, but it wasn't working, and she couldn't function.
My grandma's sister, my great aunt, she ended up passing away like 2 years ago because she slipped on the ice and broke one of her hips, and she was in the hospital for like 18 months and eventually got pneumonia. And that's definitely that'll kill old people real quick. So
Yeah.
Wait, I might need to know this for the future. I'm sorry. What will kill old people? Really?
Pneumonia.
Oh, all right.
And pneumonia there's a whole bunch of different types of pneumonia.
There's everybody's got that one in-law. They just so I'm gonna keep a jar of that handy.
That one person you almost want to dump the water on the frozen ground in front of them. I mean, sorry.
I've never had an evil thought in my entire life. How dare you?
I haven't either. But there are those people that when they see somebody slip and fall, they have no choice but to laugh.
Oh yeah.
See, I'm one of those people that I don't have the impulse control because of the brain and nerve issues.
No,
but I'm also
about the brain and
empathic.
nerve issues that make you laugh.
No.
I mean,
what it is literally
as long as we're getting personal.
Whatever weird thoughts happen up here, I can't censor them coming out because the area that filters thought to mouth is fried from seizure damage.
No kidding.
So it's kind of like 24/7 almost Tourette's with that. If I think something, it pops out.
So
Well,
So
I want you to
that
take
little
this.
part of you, that will laugh at something like that will come out. But then I'm also usually very empathic, so I'll be like laughing while I'm trying to help them.
Yeah. No, take this in the best way possible. Thank God you're on the internet.
yeah. So what's going on in this comic?
On this page?
Yes. Is he running? It looks like he's running from like a bank robbery or something.
Oh, close. All right. What we have here is I gotta remember where my my hotkeys are. Okay. New monitor, and it comes with buttons and stuff. So I gotta remember where they are.
Okay.
Okay. Panel 1, we are busting out of a door. You can't see her, but this guy is carrying 2 people. This is Meat Hook, as he is going to be named by other people, not by himself, because everybody knows when you give yourself your own nickname, it's never cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a total like egomaniac bastard move.
I know. I can't believe I got it to work in the 90s. This kid on his back and the one in his left arm, he's rescuing from a I don't even want to. It's the bad guys, we'll say. The bad guys with cameras and ill intent.
Gotcha.
Starts with a P, ends with an O, and has education in the middle. So, running out, and this is the part of this is me. I just got done reading Framed Ink, which is totally changed. Like in the middle of this panel, I was reading Framed Ink, which is an amazing book about shot composition, lighting, storytelling from a picture from one panel. And then in the last third of the book, or last quarter, actually, they get into like page composition for graphic novels. And it made me want to rethink a lot of this, but I still think I've got it figured out. So panel 1, escaping. Panel 2, meeting friends. Can you see where my pointer is?
Yeah.
Okay. So Meat Hook has one kid in one arm, and he's got the kid on his back going in with his friend into the other escape vehicle. So the kid he's getting inside what I'm trying to reproduce the inside of a really nice big car, something that a little boy would appreciate. Oh my God, your car is so big. Okay. Yes, exactly. Now abbreviate the education and put those 4 letters together, and you've got yourself a punchline.
What we're talking about. Yeah.
Right. So now Meat Hook he's handing the girl over to our friend Darren, who owns the custom G20 1976 G20 Chevy van, which has spirited away into its many nooks and crannies.
Chevy van. Wow, is that playing it by the stereotypes?
What's that? What do you mean?
Never mind.
No, if you understand the bigger context of the thing, is that nobody who's trying to pull something off like being a superhero with almost, I would say, blue collar money would be able to do it without friends. And you usually
I got that. The reason I was laughing is because of that first part you were talking about, and then you went to Chevy van, and it's
that's and
that's kind of infamous for that kind of stuff. So
no, and that's the irony.
The free
a lot of
van.
When you see the custom van, it is always the "don't let your daughter inside this van." But the guy that we're looking at here with the with the round John Lennon glasses and the man bun is an EMT. And inside,
I got that part. I was just saying it's kind of funny.
No, it is funny, ironic, and I get it. No, I understand that. So basically, he's handing this girl over she's been out the entire time. This is a rescue operation. He's this guy with the helmet with the happy face. He's looking for his daughter, but he finds these other 2 kids instead. This is the first 8 pages of an action sequence that then empties out into an origin story that, if I'm really lucky, finishes with under 34 pages. I might
Gotcha.
have to go further than that. So our hero is going to have to drive, and the only way that he's going to be able to do that is by taking off his helmet, because you do not drive around a bustling metropolis with this thing on your head. And then, everybody, and this is all still in blue line right here with these other cars in front of them are taking off. I honestly feel like I've kind of bitten off more than I can chew, because I'm not just designing the characters. Each one of these main characters comes with their own vehicle, because they're all part of the same car club. And one of them is it's specific 64 Buick Riviera lowrider, which a lowrider has a complicated paint job on it, which I'm going to have to design and then remember, you know what I mean? Like like I have to be on model, basically.
Why did the color of the car change between
No,
pages?
not even that, but like, why is the the color of the car, but why is the what's supposed to be gold leaf here not gold leaf in this panel or issue or whatever?
Just consistency and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm exactly. It's in movies and in comics, a lot of times they call this the continuity person.
Continuity. There we go.
Exactly, the person. Have you ever seen The Natural, Germs?
I haven't seen The Natural, but I'm very familiar with like IMDb having lists on videos where they have continuity fails. They're like, it was in his right hand, and then it was in his left hand. Even
better than that, there was a bat that Roy Hobbs was using the entire movie called Wonder Boy. Had a little lightning bolt on it. And then near the end of the movie, the bat breaks, and he has to use another bat that was made by the Bat Boy, who's like really looks up to this baseball star called the Savoy Special. And the very last swing of the movie, when he comes around and does this amazing swing and hits the ball, and it does the thing that he's supposed to do, you see the bat come all the way around in the other direction so that you can actually see what's on the bat, and it doesn't say Savoy Special. It says Wonder Boy. The continuity person. Now, you would have to watch that movie like 4 or 5 times and really be into it in order to see something like that, but that's one of those things. So my sketch. This is a new monitor / pen display. I gifted my Intuos 3 tablet to my daughter's friend down the street who's really into art, and so she can use that. I was having a hard time with drawing on one surface and seeing it happen on another surface, and not being able to connect the two. If it's not absolutely straight to the monitor, your X and Y becomes crooked where you're drawing, and it becomes a real hassle. But that's why I picked this up. And the greatest excuse for any small business is that you want to do year-end spending.
Yes, tax write-offs.
Exactly. And so I was like, I'll unload. I don't know how I ended up with it, honestly, I don't know how I ended up with I know how I ended up with the monitor. But I've been doing so little of this work on the side, I don't know how I ended up with the money to pay for this.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean...
Well, if you've got more money than you know you should have, you guys send some to me. I have a computer to replace.
There's the bit that I do for King and Country for 8 hours a day. And then there's the stuff that I do on the side that I tend to largely ignore. Not because I should. It's just what happens.
No, I was just being selfish for a moment because I'm annoyed that I need several thousand to replace my computer and start these sites I have to start.
I was talking to somebody about that earlier.
Ouch.
Yeah, because of the kind of photography work I do and the book designing I'm doing, I have to have a computer that can basically run like high-end gaming computers.
Okay, that's what I've run right now. I was just curious.
Is that right?
I'm not questioning you or anything, but I was just curious.
Yeah.
There is. Okay. My sketchbook wants to know. All right. I ended up settling for, because it's not a Cintiq. He wants to know. Sketchbook wants to know.
Okay.
Did
well,
you build it or buy it?
I don't build computers. I am technological window licker. Let's put it that way. But my husband deals with the computer and making sure it's functional. It depends how much time he has and what deals he can find, whether he builds or buys for me. But he's done research, and for the things I need, the cheapest options he's found are $2,500 to $3,000. So
okay. I was thinking about a gaming computer for actual gaming, and I don't know a lot about it. I know that the one channel that I follow that does, I think it's called DCL Digital. It's Digital Combat. He basically is doing some of the most lifelike, air dogfight battles that I've ever seen. Growling Sidewinder is the name of the channel. The stuff that he is using, I would consider to be some of the top of the line stuff, because you can't get this kind of realism without it.
There is, to the next question from Sketchbook, there is one of the programs I run. I can't remember the name here, and it's on my computer 900 miles away, so it's not very useful to try to remember the name. It's what my husband found me, and it was on Markdown for $100 as a program, which tells you what kind of program it is. It's book design program. It will run 100-page book where you can lay out every page, do that stuff. It helps you with bleed edges, different printer styles, all of it. And
are you
really
printing your photo? Are you printing digital?
I'm going to be this. Yeah, I'm designing several photo books. So I have to go, and because I'm designing several photo books and I'm doing information on when where photos were taken, all this stuff like that, I have to have it open. And when it's open, it has every page in that book open so you can quick switch between them.
Okay.
And then I have to have all these programs open where I'm going through the photos here, where I'm going through the tags and the information, my notes and continuity and all this here, while I'm uploading photos and videos.
Hey, I just used that word.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to break your train of thought.
It sucks up memory really bad, and I need a whole bunch of different ports for all the cameras and recording stuff and everything.
And it's not like you have to replace the computer every year, though. So, I mean, $3,000 is kind of pricey, but at the same time, if you can use it for a couple years, then
I guess the
upgradability of a PC is a lot easier than upgrading a Mac
laptop.
I spent $3,000 on the Mac that I'm using right now, and it's not even current.
Yeah, I was going to say, to me, at least the positive is I did just get monetized, and I am actually getting some super chats when I stream, so that at least helps some.
How'd you do
it for you?
And I'm not saying like, how'd you do that? I mean, like, honest to God.
Animal videos from my photography work.
Oh, cool.
That's how I went from.
Yeah, I mean, that's not like you're not doing it because you're just trying to get likes.
Yeah.
You actually photograph animals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's photograph them. I record little clips of them while I'm out photographing them and interacting with them. I'm right now actually working on creating a GPS map of all the eagle nests for DNR for conservation work and caring for them. So
eagle nest. Okay. That's interesting.
That is a massive undertaking. That's very expensive because it takes a lot of driving, a lot of hiking, a lot of exploration, cliff climbing, stuff like that to get near the nests and get the charted information and let them know what's in the nest, all this stuff. And I'm lucky if I can get an nest charted a day because of how much detail and work goes into each one.
Holy shit.
And it's for conservation, because otherwise I would think like that'd be bad information to release to the world.
It's not being released to the world. That's why I said DNR.
What would be bad?
Department of Natural Resources.
Yeah, if you were to have like a map of all the eagle nests and you're to just like publish it on the internet, I imagine that one nefarious person or two could do something awful with that information. That's why I was like, this
is not being published. I'm doing this with Atlas Books. This is not being published. This is going to the Department of Natural Resources to help do conservation to protect them from those kinds of people.
Good. Cool.
So this is actually a project for the system for them to help protect them.
Oh, I'm sorry. Book programs require more RAM than anything else. Yeah.
Book programs.
Am I looking to build a budget? I'm assuming that means budget because I and you are right next to each other. Low end or rich mate. No, I honestly, if I was going to get a gaming computer, I would probably just pick one up from Walmart because that's what my daughter's boyfriend uses, and he seems to have a good time. I am nowhere near. I don't have the skills or the time to do anything serious.
I will answer one thing to my sketchbook. First of all, no, I will not use anything from Adobe. I fucking hate the company.
Good.
And it's really, really ironic that a company that donates so much to all of these population control and racist groups uses the name of an Indian group for their business. But that's a whole other rant.
Do they really do that?
Yeah, they donate a lot to population control and all that stuff, yes.
Adobe's an awful company.
They're horrible.
They also charge more for Australians for whatever reason.
The program I got, I know it's not Adobe. It is a one-time purchase for that program. I can't remember the name of it. I'll have to. No, different one.
That's the Canuckian.
There's a site that I found where you can upload unlimited into their storage for life for purchase. It's a really good cloud that also will help you make like videos and stuff out of photography and stuff. And I can't remember the name of it. It's saved on the crappy stuff at the house.
Gotcha.
But it's like 300 lifetime usually for the professional on that site. But I got it on this big Cyber Monday deal a couple of years ago. So I got it for like $40 lifetime membership for all of it.
Very cool.
It's like little things you can do to save money, right?
Is the population control aspect of Adobe a widely known thing? Is that like common knowledge?
I didn't know about that.
Okay.
You have to actually dig into their corporate donations and what they do. I do this on businesses a lot because of the stuff I'm involved with inner city outreach and stuff. So I research companies a lot. So
I have to ask my sketchbook 340. I'd like to, if I may be following you and I don't know it, but I wouldn't. I mean, make an offer, and maybe we can work something out. Who knows? As far as
an offer you can't refuse.
As far as this, yeah, I do not work at a racetrack, although I live close to one. You will not find a horse head in your bed.
Yeah, you'll just find little things that are a way of raising funds. Make and sell jewelry.
Yeah, I've seen that before. I haven't seen that since I went to see the Crosby, Stills, Nash and the Dead at Rick Stadium.
Actually, I've been making and selling jewelry for like 15 years. It's how I fund a lot of my inner city outreach, and it's actually how I fundraise a lot of the money to help mom after dad died to pay for funeral and a lot of medical bills and stuff.
Ooh.
So
that's pretty good. So you've got some. One-time purchases are only good if the company can.
Which is also true. You need a company that's pretty stable if you're going to do that.
Yeah. Well, and they're on a subscription model. It's $50 a month for the entire suite of everything.
I had a question about your book.
Fuck, I can't pay for that kind of shit.
Do you have a cover for it yet?
Cover for this? For the book, I've been thinking about it a lot more because here's the thing that really sucks right now is that this version of the character, in fact, let me see if I've got if I can pull him up. Let's see if I can set it. I'm trying to make it so that you can actually see the guy. Okay, this version of the character doesn't show up until issue 2. Well, I mean, we see him in issue 1 in the first 8 pages, but then after that, it is how we got here. So it's a little Tarantino-esque.
Why would it be cool if you were to do like a tribute to that one Punisher cover where he's like holding on to something and he's got that bazooka aimed right at that window?
Do you know what issue it was? Because you know what, I would be posing at that point. Because I never collected the Punisher.
Oh.
I could go into my comic book career and why it is not career, but my my comic book history and why it's so hyphenated. But then I would sound like I'm talking about my mom too much, which got really, really old when I was in college. You know, like when everybody's talking about I was raised in a fill in the blank war story, you know, that thing. But I just, I got to live with it. I wasn't allowed to read this. I wasn't allowed to watch that, listen to this, whatever. And that's what got me moving out of the house at 18. The clockwork orange of that is when you move out of the house at 18, you don't have money for anything else. Like
Been there.
Comic books. Right. Exactly. So like, I'm going to leave here and do whatever I want, you know? Geez. Oh, that's good. All right. Well, how about this? Leave a way for me. If I'm not already following you somehow, Sketchbook, leave something in the comments and I will get in touch with you and you can build whatever the hell you want. Look, honestly, the one Mac, I've got two other Macs over here, and the one in the back I have to keep because it runs a version of OS 9 that runs the vinyl cutter. And if I don't have that, I can't cut vinyl. The other one I could get rid of, except for it's like I spent money on a video card and all this RAM, but it was a long time ago. All right.
About a year ago, my computer, I had a water cooler for my CPU cooler, and it leaked.
Oh, I've heard. I do not want a water cooled. I do not want a water cooled. Yeah.
Yeah, it leaked.
I've heard of that.
It burnt up, but I use my computer for work as well, so I have to have a computer. So when that happened, I was like, crap. When I figured out why it wouldn't turn back on, I was like, uh-oh. So I bought, it was like December and January of last year. I just like, crap. I panic bought all of my new computer parts, and it ended up being like $1,500, $2,000.
Yeah.
But, I had to have a computer for work. Like there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I mean, so, I've been skirting needing to replace this computer a long time. It was nowhere near new when I started streaming in 2019. So the fact that it's kind of going belly up fast and not working at all and crashing constantly is not a surprise. You know?
Yeah,
it's exponential when these things go bad. I mean, my first computer I had was an Apple IIc, 5 1/4-inch floppy disks. And
yes, I remember those.
Yeah, so we're aging each other right now.
I remember floppy disks, both the ones they called floppy but were hard and the actual floppies.
You're talking about the 3.5-inch. Well, they were floppy on the inside,
Yes.
The cool thing about the 5 1/2-inch discs or the 5 1/4-inch discs was
shake them like this and fan yourself with them.
Well, there was that, but you could get a single-sided disc. You could get a deal on single-sided discs. And then take a hole puncher because they're basically a square with a notch out of the side. The hole in the middle, of course, wherever the drive on the disc around, right? But there was that one square on the side. It was on one side. And if you wanted to make it a double-sided disc, all you had to do is take a hole puncher to the other side, right across, right on the other side of the disc. You could turn that bitch over, slide it in, whole nother side to the disc. No,
that's right.
You remember doing that?
Megabytes?
Dude, the first was that we had an Intellivision growing up, and the biggest competitor to the Atari 2600, and they had a Super Intellivision, which was a keyboard computer thing that you actually inserted the entire Intellivision unit into, and that boasted 2K memory. That's right, 2 kilobytes.
I remember that shit.
Huge. It was like, this is almost a Commodore.
Remember Bill Gates with that one famous quote where he's like, who's ever going to need more than 640K of memory?
Yeah, meanwhile,
What? My cell phone has way more than that now.
Meanwhile, I've got multiple multi-terabyte hard drives filled with shit.
And that's one of the reasons why I always say the science fiction is the most important literary genre known to man,
because a lot of technology wouldn't exist without it.
Exactly. It has to be imagined before it's created. So you don't get to have an iPhone unless you have a communicator and a tricorder.
Right. Like, think of Steve Jobs walking up with something, the size of what's a common cell phone now. Yeah, I want to take 1,000 records and I want it to exist on this thing. Yeah, and I want to have a little screen for it too. Yeah. Go ahead and make.
We're saying I want to make sure that I'm not the oldest person on streams ever again, because I hate when that happens.
No, I'm
sure they're all young shits.
It's funny.
You are the oldest person on stream.
Yes.
Not this one, no. But it's happened a lot.
You're the only one with a camera on for a reason.
I've often said that the things that we know are they're real now were once made up.
Yeah, they were fictional at one point in time.
Right, like men can't be women.
Yeah.
No, that's still true. I don't care if it offends people.
That's still fiction.
I like the way everybody just stopped talking for a second.
You're like,
think about this.
I'm sorry, but
why'd you say it?
I have nothing against people who genuinely have dysphoria and all that, who are actually trans. I have nothing against them. But to claim that you are a woman when there's so much mentally, medically, hormonally that goes into our lives,
I think it's
very disrespectful of us.
Yeah, it's not drawing.
And dismissive of women, and I don't. But at the same time, I don't try to live my life trying to make other people feel bad. So
No, I mean, I don't care what they're doing as long as they're not.
I have a question for you,
Germs.
Why don't you? Why not? Every once in a while, just live in the moment and fuck up somebody's day. You're not going to fuck up their life,
dude.
You're just going to make them wonder about why did that guy flip me off? In traffic, because it happens.
I've done that before at an AutoZone. And there was this little old Asian lady just screaming.
Okay, now the old Asian lady is off limits.
I didn't bully her.
I have problems now. You picked the wrong person.
No. This is actually a good one. She's screaming at this guy, and he's the only guy that's at a teller, like at a cashier.
He's at the counter, right?
Yeah, and she's just screaming at him, and I have my headphones in, and I'm trying to zone out, and I just hear her screaming, and I'm wearing my work clothes, so I think like button-down shirt. Slacks, stuff like that, untucked. But I walk up to the other side of the counter. I'm like, ma'am. She finally get her attention. I'm like, why are you screaming? The entire room falls dead silent. And she's like, well, I was like, no, there's only one person in this room that wants to help you, and it's that guy. And you're screaming at him. Do you think that that's going to make him want to help you or not help you? What is your problem? Where do you work? And she starts looking for like an ID badge. I'm like, I don't work here. I'm a customer. Where do you work? Can I go scream at you at your job? And she's she's just taken back. But I made sure that I was on the other side of, think of a U-shaped desk, where the cash register is. Like, I'm not physically trying to intimidate this lady. I definitely could, but I was like, I want to make very sure that it's not like she thinks I'm going to beat her up or something. I'm like what you need to calm down, go outside, take a couple breaths, and come back in and treat this man with some respect. And then I went and sat back down, and like the entire room was just like you could hear a pin drop.
God, it really works.
If you scream a bunch of obscenities at people, usually they just tune you out. If you sit and quietly tell somebody something insulting,
piss off the writer.
No. I'm talking about.
I just wanted to see if it worked.
First of all, that was not a calm voice. Second of all, telling the woman that it's people like you who are the festering boils on the ass of society. In that calm voice, angered her more and upset her more than every person I've ever cussed out.
Yeah, it was. She was just mistreating this guy, and this guy was at work and he couldn't speak his mind. He couldn't tell her to go eat shit. He was just like he had to sit there quietly and take it from her. And everyone else is just sitting there looking at each other like, oh, wow, there's a psychopath over there screaming at this guy. And no one's helping him.
You want to make someone feel real bad. If they're the meaner they are to you, the nicer you are to them.
That is the giving your enemy food and water is like
kill them with kindness.
Is dumping fiery coals on their head.
Sometimes the easiest way you can anger somebody is just sit there and go, "Oh, bless you," when they're doing stupid shit.
Bless your heart.
Yeah, that's by the way why I find that so hypocritical. I find the whole bless your heart thing in Southern so hypocritical.
I'm Melissa.
Because they don't say this meaning bless your heart. And to Southern Christians that do it.
Melissa Jane has a really cool channel in Australia. She eats candy.
Never mind.
Yeah. No, hold on. Just 1 second. Just because she showed up and I need as many followers as I can, everybody go and follow Melissa Jane. Now, we can go on and
my brain was already having trouble. I kept
you were talking about
you're talking about blessing people's hearts and why that only happens.
Well, the problem with the hypocrisy in that is that the ones who say that the most are these people who claim to be so religious. And biblically, it's not the words that are condemned; it's your intention behind them. And if you're trying to actually curse somebody,
yeah, I mean,
not as in vulgar words.
My wife has a T-shirt that says "Bless your heart" to illustrate the irony.
Let me finish it.
Go ahead.
Not as in vulgar hearts, but as in, do you mean ill? Are you speaking ill of the person to be malicious and stuff like that? That's what biblical cursing is. It's literally trying to hex people or trying to wish ill on people. That's what they mean when they say that. So if they say do this, I'm Southern Christian, I'm Baptist, I believe so much in trying to live my faith and stuff, and then they're going, oh, bless your heart is a way to put people down or insult them. They're not acting their faith just because they're saying something. And I find that more offensive because they're saying the bless your heart. So they're dragging their faith in their God into insulting people and belittling them and acting against their faith.
I just thought it was funny.
Well, this is a personal viewpoint.
I've heard it from a Southerner before. Well, bless your heart. I was like, oh, what did I do? Like, oh no.
I just thought it'd be more. It's like saying "fuck you" without actually saying "fuck you."
Yeah, well, it's a nice way of saying "fuck you."
Yeah, and that's the point, because in faith that they claim to espouse, that's actually worse because you're using a phrase that brings God into cursing someone.
What it is? Damn it! Sorry. I was like, I cannot draw right now. Every time I put the pen to the.
We all have.
I had a brain fart. I do not know my software. The whole time I'm listening to you going, yeah, no, I get it. It's the irony. They're being ironic. They are saying bless your heart. They don't really mean it, and you can tell they don't really mean it because there are, and is there an entire T-shirt line that says bless your heart.
I like sketches.
And the intention behind it
is like, oh, bless your heart. Which, what would you rather hear?
Yeah. I'd rather people were honest with me than trying to mince words and play nice when they're being catty and two-faced.
Yep.
I like Sketchbook's comment. He says, "Bless your heart is the heck with you, but I can't cuss you out here."
See, I can't speak on that because with my brain and my tics, I can literally say there was a moment where I started spasming and ticking the F word in church. So. And there was nothing I could control.
I know a guy that did that, and he didn't have the issues that you speak of.
It wasn't something I could control. And the thing is, I'm still on the board of the church. They're really understanding and stuff. But personally, embarrassment. That's one that really is like.
Gotcha.
So embarrassing, It's not so much that
It sounds like it's not Tourette's. It's just Tourette's adjacent.
It's not technically Tourette's because Tourette's is caused by a certain form of brain issue, but because it's brain scars, nerve damage, and developing Parkinson's, it does the exact same thing.
Okay.
So it's not technically Tourette's, but it might as well be.
No, I'm aware of what you're talking about. I know that. Any football fan, especially if you follow the Steelers, a decent amount of the fans are convinced the hit that he took by what was the guy? I cannot remember his first name. His last name was Perfect. He played for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Take care, Tim.
Tim's out? Oh,
yeah, he
all right.
put it in private chat.
Okay, all right. Well, thanks for showing up anyways. I probably should have thrown... I plan on just like talking, not really promoting anything, but I know that he's got a book out. Melvin, too. Everybody go back, Melvin, too. I've done my bit. All right. Antonio Brown got hit so hard by Vontaze Burfict that I think it actually caused issues with his brain where he immediately started acting not right. He was became like, once he came back from that hit, locker room poison. He was referring to things, and he was not reacting to things emotionally. I would say like correct or accurate.
That's not uncommon.
No, I know it's not.
Yeah.
I know
you gotta
somebody
be careful with your brain. Brain injuries are a hell of a thing to go through, and that's speaking
right. And that's part of what makes PTSD one of those things where when you have those, like, shell shock is real. When you have those large explosions happening, and those sound waves and those shock waves that are passing through your system are affecting your heart, your lungs, and all those organs that will bounce back and do their job normally. But for something that is complex as your brain, those shock waves are going through that organ as well. And if it does not have the same kind of resilience as your other like fellow soldiers.
I absolutely agree with you on that. That's also why it is really insidious that they took like 70 different types of PTSD there are and lumped them all together under one banner and took away terms like shell shock and stuff, because each one, it's from different forms of physical and mental trauma. They're caused really specifically, and they affect the brain differently, and they have different symptoms, different causes for flashbacks and different behaviors. So when they lumped them all together, they turned it into, everybody assumes it's the military thing. Everyone assumes it's shell shock. And so anybody like me who has PTSD from other things, we say it and they go, "Oh, you weren't in the military." And it's like, that's not the only way you get it.
I know somebody who fell out of a tree 20 feet and landed on their face. And for the most part, for like 95% has led a normal life, married, kids, but every once in a while that one thing will happen where
it'll suddenly make you relive that moment, no matter how long it is. You do
on one hand, it's happened to me too. I've never taken like a sharp blow to the head, except like I've been punched once or twice. But and can you believe it? I'm such a nice guy, but you've had those moments where all of a sudden you're at the clown's funeral and you can't help laugh. My sister showed up at my very most favorite aunt's wedding late, and she was so stressed out by the entire thing where she had not been in town forever. She got unfamiliar with the roads. She's asking me where to go. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You used to live here. It's here. You've been here before. It's like 5 miles away from where we had an apartment. How do you not know where it is? By the time she got there in the middle of the vows, she was trying to keep herself from laughing so hysterically. And then she starts laughing, which now I start laughing because the entire thing is so absurd. Why wouldn't you laugh? Also, you know what I mean? It's like all of a sudden you're hearing the muskrat ramble and the Keystone Cops running around the corner.
There's different things that react. Yes, it's just that's the way it is.
But it's more susceptible to somebody who's taken a large blow to the head,
or has seizures or brain disorders or anything like that,
or whatever.
All those things make you more susceptible.
A large blow to the head.
So that's what I was
brain disorder
saying is that's what I was getting at. There is the reason that's one of the ones that bothers me, because there are some mental conditions and medical conditions where the changed name actually makes more logical sense, and there's somewhere they're trying so hard to sanitize terms that they're actually lumping people together and make it harder to treat them. Right. And that's Same with autism, by the way, because there's multiple things under the autism banner, and now they just call it all autism and spectrum, and they don't even get diagnosed separately half the time anymore. And they are not the same, and they're treated very differently. You know,
I found that the moniker autism is the new R word.
I have a
they use it as an insult, and that's really kind of disturbing in its own way.
It's that, but it's also a way of. I mean, this is going to sound really weird because now I'm using the N word. But people who would say like normal people or people who do not have fill in the blank are living among people who do have fill in the blank. And one of the ways that you deal with people who don't have whatever it is, that are dealing with people who do have whatever it is, and you've seen them all. I'm not even talking about you or me or Germs or anybody in chat or whatever. I'm just talking about your average walk through Walmart. Okay? We're not allowed to deal with that anymore. We're not allowed our pressure release. We're not allowed to have that little steam valve, that pressure check valve that goes whatever. It sounds like a whistle, but to us, it's a laugh. We're not allowed to we're not allowed to joke about the stuff that we are normally uncomfortable with because that's how we deal with it.
And see, for me, that's the only way I could survive it.
I don't mean
joking.
I don't mean making fun of you or whoever to their face. I mean just on a collective level dealing with it. Think about the person who has the greatest sense of humor in the world is usually the guy that works in the morgue.
Okay, going on that, I'll finish my thought it was on, and then I'll go into a comment on what you just said, because it actually kind of will tie together a little bit. When I was talking about that with PTSD, the reason I was talking about it was because if somebody goes through shell shock, as you said, the sound waves, the shock waves, all that stuff,
literally,
the trauma of the bullets, everything has a playing part in that. Whereas, with somebody like me, where your PTSD issues come from long-term abusive stuff, being sexually mistreated, surviving being trampled by 2,000 drunks as a kid.
If you're asking me for you to get into that in more detail, I can't.
It was a stupid sports event on the holiday that just passed. That it was the ball drop for the sports event, and let's just say people are stupid. Okay,
of course they are.
And I was 2 days after I turned 11. So
welcome to okay, gotcha.
But that at that age, especially because when they happen to you before adulthood, it scars your brain differently also. So even the same traumas, if they happen for adult versus kid, the reaction to the brain, how it scars it, and how you can recuperate varies. And when it comes to PTSD, there's no fully healed for any form of it. Your brain will never be 100% again. The most you can do is learn to control the reactions, the flashbacks, and the tics on a general. Which is why I go into hiding most of the time when the end of the year comes around, because when people say that holiday, it causes flashbacks. And every year I've got somebody going, well, it's been so long, you should just get over it. And they'll intentionally try to say that holiday to me over and over to make me face it, which can make the brain worse. Because they think that that's the way to do it. It's like, you do realize some people may actually heal that way. That is proven. Some, they need to have more exposure to it to heal. Depending on the form, though, that can actually increase the scarring and make it worse for others.
Oh, I tell you, I mean, I don't usually, yes, people are very stupid. Okay. There's a lot of shit going on in here I am not paying attention to. This is why I need somebody else to watch the chat. I need someone else to watch the chat. I was saying that to the expert earlier. I'm like, man, I just need somebody to watch the chat while I draw. We can all hang out together, and somebody can tell me what somebody else is saying. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, I'm ignoring.
Yes, because I hate trying to watch chat. I hate trying to watch chat when I'm doing art streams. Yeah. It breaks your moment constantly.
Equal Writer, you said that you were going to loop that back into the conversation that he said that the person with the best sense of humor is usually a mortician.
Yeah. So you're talking about the morbid sense of humor is healing. This is the same reason I
No,
got offended
I wasn't
at.
saying that. I was
Well,
saying
no,
that, but it's how we all deal with things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
what I was getting at is you were talking about the dark sense of humor. There's a reason for them, and I was going to go into that because statistically proven, those who have these dark humors, those who have sadistic, sardonic humors, those who are kind of twisted in their humor.
Cynical and leave
it. Cynical goes in it too.
Yeah, I mean that I didn't really celebrate New Year's at all because I know it's going to just get worse.
Yeah, usually the people who have those humors, it's because it's actually a coping mechanism. It helps you overcome the thing that stressed you. It helps you overcome things. I wrote horrific stuff people would not want to ever read if they knew it was from me. I swear. There's a reason I used pen names and sold the names because I wrote stuff dealing with the darkest shit, the things that my ex did to me and stuff, and I wrote it in very twisted ways. Well, this was a coping mechanism. It's part of why I said when I was searching for a site where I could share poetry and short stories that I have a problem when you see all these poetry sites and they have rules for terms of what topics are okay, because poetry is an emotion language. It was created for people to release the deep emotions of humanity, literally. Yeah, and so it is one of the top ways that a lot of ex-military do poetic stuff about serving. A lot of sex crime survivors do poetry about the things that were done to their bodies and stuff like that. It's a healing thing. And the thing is that these stories are dark and twisted, and those sites ban them. And
are you familiar with James O'Barr?
I know the name offhand, but my brain's having trouble remembering why. So
he wrote he wrote and drew The Crow.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Got it.
That work was based off a traumatic loss.
And like people like police and firefighters and paramedics and such, they need to be able to have a way to release.
Hi, Ash.
And usually it's the
look at this,
joking about it and stuff like that.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you so much for showing up. This is I don't get a lot of people that I know from Discord, and there they are. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, you're good. It's just like I know nurses and stuff. They have a really dark sense of humor, and it's something that it's how they deal with life, how they deal with the things that are put in front of them, and everything from death to horrible injuries to all of that. Just those aspects of life that come along with the territory.
Yeah. Everybody has it. My favorite. I'll say my man of the cloth pastor. I will not say televangelist because that's a
dirty word.
Yeah. But one of my favorite, I'll say like religious philosophers, whatever. John MacArthur. He said that everybody is flawed. It is just a matter of flavor. He said it's just a matter of degree. I think is a matter of flavor and degree.
Yeah.
Now, everybody has their issues. Eagle Rider has their issues. I've heard Germs and I had a conversation about things that he had gone through. And I believe I shared with you stuff that I had gone through when I was a kid that I wouldn't consider traumatic in the way that, like an abuse victim would, but it was super confusing, and we are all dealing with them, and we're probably going to be dealing with them until we're like old.
I'm something that you just remember.
How many
memories do you have from?
Yeah, Joel Osteen is one of the worst.
Yeah,
there's a whole.
Not to interrupt you guys when I related to him saying that, or her. I'm sorry, I don't know which one Maya is. I'm sorry.
Stop moving.
But no, that's the thing is. I have had a very rough life.
Yeah,
most people say it. The word of faith movement is literally them saying if you have been abused, if you're disabled or other stuff, it's your fault for not having that faith.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It is the most disgusting victim shaming bullshit.
Exactly. It's your fault for not being rich. It's your fault for dying, literally. if you are so sick that you die, this is what happened to my mother. And this is a woman that, and this is a woman who basically gave her, Kenneth Copeland looks like a fucking snake, which is exactly what he is.
I was born with multiple disabilities.
Twisting in the branches of the tree of life.
Trying to give you an apple.
The tree of knowledge.
Like, I was told not to have this apple.
Kenneth Copeland is one of the worst. But this is the woman who gave her brain over to anybody else. All she needed was all she needed was a church that would lie to her. I've never in my life ever met somebody who wanted to be sold a bill of goods as bad as that woman did. And it's taken me years and years to realize
the worst groups for finding people like that and really using them. I would say put a tie in Word of Faith and the fucking Scientologists. They're the worst for that shit. They take such advantage of those people.
Well, for all of his faults, and his failing one was pretty great. But I believe that just because somebody who was, you can find something good in someone who is flawed, and the reason I say that is because I think that Ravi Zacharias was one of the great expositors of the gospel, even though he had, and we didn't find this even out until after he had passed away, that he had some sexual impropriety.
His own demons.
Exactly his own demons. But I do believe it's like separating the art from the artist.
Yeah, that kind of goes back to something that you said earlier, that like everyone's got their own thing, their own. You're talking about your mom, how she just wanted to trust someone. She wanted that, and it's like you think of these people sometimes. Like a parent, you'll think of them as perfect, and then as you get older, you see, hey, wait a minute, this person is maybe not necessarily perfect, but they try their best, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I was going to answer the question in chat for you.
Which was what? This one?
Do you believe that believers today can be healed? Though I actually have an answer for that, because the problem with Word of Faith is they think if you're not healed, then it's something you did wrong. Look, I'm speaking as the person who is Christian here, and I'm not going to say this is fact or anything, or say that you guys have to share or agree, because I would never do that. Biblical stance is that God answers every prayer. It does not say that God says yes to every prayer. There is balance to why and reasons we may not understand in our life. I do believe miracles can happen. If they didn't, I wouldn't be here. I've beaten more timers on my life than I should have ever even been able to have. There's been so many times I was supposed to die. It's not even funny. And I'm still here. So do I believe we can be healed of different things or miraculously get through things? Yes. My dad was 63 when he passed last year, almost 64. He was supposed to be in a wheelchair in his 20s. He wasn't supposed to live to 30 for multiple muscular dystrophies. He was never in a wheelchair. And it wasn't the muscular dystrophy that killed him. So, I mean,
Gotcha.
Do I believe people can either be healed or be held up and live longer and fight through faith and courage? Yes. But that just because somebody doesn't mean that they are not a good person, or doesn't mean that they lack faith. We don't know the plans. We don't know what's going on out there, and we don't know why God allows certain things or doesn't. It's also that we're in a fallen world.
I've been through that with my son. I don't consider myself to be a theologian of any significant state. But I do believe that trying to understand the mind of God is a futile.
We are, but abstinary in little specks compared to God. We're nothing.
Know that.
We don't even know our own world fully. How are we supposed to understand the entire universe and the mind of God that created it, right?
There is a way to understand how the Bible works the way it works. And if anybody's ever seen Contact, I think there's a scene in there. And one of the things that I think that God is really, really, really good at is showing us himself, like it says in the Bible. He shows up in nature. He shows up in the perfect machine of the way that the world works, as far as things like.
This is where I feel most with God, is when I'm out tracking animals and doing photography.
I like
and out
that
in
one.
Nature.
Right. Okay. But
and this one was taken on Christmas Eve, so that was a perfect segue to what you were saying.
Right. So, but what I mean, like the way that like everything that you learn in biology class and science class, or like chlorophyll or the balance of the earth, and
you see the creator in the creation.
How things are balanced.
I'll give you a perfect example. I'll give you the moon. This is one of people don't usually think of this. The effects of the moon happen whether you see it or not.
Tides.
Its gravitational pull affects us whether it's a new moon and it's blank, or whether it's a full moon and it provides light.
And the different stages of the moon affect us differently.
And the immutable characteristics of God are displayed in the moon. For the way that it changes, it has its slivers, its halves, its waning, its waxing. What do you think the
recreation and rebirth?
Not just that, but what do you? And there's symbolism all over the place. I'm sure that I'm not even getting at because I've never been there. But what do you think the
You haven't been to the moon?
No, I haven't. Imagine.
No.
I know. A lot of people think I have. I am a terrestrial being.
I think I know what you're getting at, and I think I agree. So go ahead and finish.
Keep going on.
What are the mathematical possibilities that we and anyone that we've ever known, living or dead, has only ever seen one side of that?
Right. We only see one side of the moon because its rotation
is the same as its revolution. Right.
See, this goes to you talk about mathematical odds, and this is where my favorite came in.
But math is a language, and I think that God speaks to us too through math. And I also think that he speaks to us through the Bible, and the reason why the Bible works is the same way the reason why a note works. When somebody calls you up for someone else, is whoever there present? No. Well, can you take a message for me? Okay. Are you going to remember that and get it wrong? Or are you going to write it down so that the message is nice and clear for the person who's supposed to read it?
Well, I get what you're saying. What I was starting to say there is that's always been my viewpoint of why I couldn't fully be atheistic, was never about flights of fancy or following because I was told to or something like that. It's because I studied science and culture and mythology and religions and history and physics and psychology and all this. And what I found to be the biggest truth I could find in all of it is that there is no possible way without some divine intervention that I believe mathematically that this many detailed creatures and life forms could exist with the details that they have.
Yeah,
the mathematical odds of it accidentally being created is...
And the mathematical odds of their similarity too. And I realize that that's a consequence of their biology, of them being on this planet with us. They all have to consume oxygen and food and things like that.
And I don't believe this is the only forms of life. I think we're limited in thinking we understand life because of how life on our planet or in our little solar system operates. And I think that when we get outside of this, there's going to be so many forms of life that are beyond our understanding that we are not going to be able to physically, mentally understand what they are as what we are now.
I love this avatar. Just saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So what I was getting at earlier when you were talking about the stories we have, reason why I detest Word of Faith so much. I was born with disabilities because both my parents have a lot of medical issues.
I was born with a disability called being human.
They didn't know most of this when they had me. And it was later they found out how much medical issues they had and how many they were passing to me. I was born with all kinds of disabilities. I had a very, very severe reaction to a tainted shot as a child, and that's where the seizures, nerve damage, infertility, PCOS, and everything came from.
Vaccinate you after the first 5 minutes?
It was actually a reaction to a tainted diphtheria shot.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
What is it tainted with?
That means that something went wrong in the process of making it. It was not correct.
Okay.
So it caused a severe neurological reaction.
Right.
So
Gotcha.
by time I have memories,
Right.
my first memory is waking in the hospital from a massive seizure that burned
Uh-huh.
5 scars down my brain tissue, literally. So by the time I have memories, I was fighting medical and all this. And when they say, well, if you have these things wrong with you, it's your fault. It's like, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything as a child to have people bully, abuse, and mistreat me for being disabled. I didn't do anything.
Believe you child. What did you do?
Yeah, I didn't do anything.
What you did wrong.
I didn't do anything to have a predator target me and go after me as a kid either.
Mm-hmm.
And these things that people, when they say that stuff, they use your brain. What kind of kid deserves to be put through that shit? I wish nobody else in my life. I wish nobody else to go through the kind of things I did. You know.
I'm sorry. I have a question. Do you think there is in existence such a thing as a perfect childhood?
No.
Okay.
We all get damaged.
And I don't think that because I've had a harder one than many people have, that don't think that means that their struggles are less important. Right. I don't believe in that viewpoint. Right. I don't believe that I have anything entitled to gain from it. And I don't think it's a good thing. I'm honest about it and real about it, but I don't think it's something to celebrate. Like some people wear like every little thing they've been through like a badge of honor. And it's like, well, overcoming it and surviving it can be badges of honor, but
I think
having things happen to you is kind of just
if everybody had that perfect childhood, there would be no reason to write stories about anything.
Right. And then also
because there would be no conflict, there would be no
perfect.
Everyone would be boring.
Yeah, everyone handles things differently as well. So, it's all like degrees of perception of, like you have a childhood where I was born in a country where I had to start throwing hand grenades at 3 years old. And then you've got someone who has a different type of damage from, so it's all degrees of perception and stuff. And
that's one of the things where
you divided upon a baseline.
Where when I was in college and we're telling these war stories to each other about our childhoods and how we grew up and stuff. And there was a point where it's like, in this case, if I want someone to understand why I'm only getting into the comic book game this late, I can tell you what happened to me. I can tell you why that happened and the history of it. But I'm not trying to show you all of the scars of I am damaged because my mother wouldn't let me go to the comic book store because this, and this.
Yeah.
Well, the actual issue there is where even beyond all that, what I realize is that I never got to know the person that everyone else that I know has such great affection for. You know what I mean? Like, your mother is supposed to be one of those things where you're like, she was this, she was all these things, and the best that I can do. And again, this isn't me whining about it. This is me just understanding that it's a fact that this was a stranger, and isn't that weird? So I'm just going to have all these questions about, I wonder what it would be like to have a relationship with somebody like that. And that the best that you're going to get is like step this or surrogate, whatever. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like you were saying, somebody who grew up in a war zone and saw their first dead body when they were 7 and they may have caused it. Eventually, don't we all need to just move on?
Yeah. And see, that's the thing is, again, I openly talk about the past because I think we do need to learn how to deal with our past. I think we need to learn how to deal with what's wrong. I also think we can't let it be just an excuse. Even with the brain issues, I do everything I can to control them as much as I can, to not spasm and tick constantly. Even though I have nerve spasms and shakes and Parkinson's, I'm out there drawing. I'm doing photography. I'm trying to not be that person.
And also talking about things is one of the things that works for me, like being able to say them out loud and be able to say them without my voice shaking and
that's a
stuff
balance.
like that.
That's a balance because you have.
Oh, your voice shaking.
There's a moment where
that to be charming.
One sec. There's a moment here. I'm trying to explain here. 1 sec.
Please go.
No, it's just my memory. My memory spazzes sometimes when things cut. It's not you guys.
Take your time. You're good.
But I was getting at, there's a balance to, is somebody talking about their experience because they want to share that I overcame this, you can too, or we're all broken in different ways. Let's learn from each other. Or are they saying this stuff constantly because they want you to give them everything and they want you to feel sorry for them and they want to get entitled and privileged?
Yes,
that's the
I need
difference.
Your monies. That's what I need. No,
that's the difference. Because
there's
nothing wrong with acknowledging your past and talking about it. There's nothing wrong with the fact those who have scars that are always going to be a part of their day-to-day life from the past. Mm-hmm. The problem is when you're letting that rule you instead of letting it be an example for others.
Right. I totally get what you're saying.
It's supposed to be your spice, not your bouillabaisse.
Yeah.
I just love saying that word. I think bouillabaisse is one of the greatest words.
Bouillabaisse.
Thank you, Dennis Miller, for.
It's funny. I think boobs are one of the greatest words and things.
You and I both. But also,
sorry, I love my boobs.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
All right, okay.
I made Mexican straight corn today, and that was the best thing that I've made in a long time.
Why
Mexican
is he apologizing?
Mexican street corn is fantastic.
Oh.
I don't know. I kind of wanted to like maybe we could take a left turn from all the heavy stuff into like fun stuff or stupid things.
You see that?
Sorry,
he's talking about your boobs with the heavy stuff.
Right. No. Just something, like I'm thinking about the things.
I know for some reason we went off on this tangent. I don't even know who started
it. I'll
but
share my screen again. You guys can critique. You can critique the my art.
Gotcha.
I got so into it because I've been trying to write. So
be absolutely brutal. I'm gonna have to open some things.
You don't want me to be brutal. Trust me.
No, I do.
Okay, so all right. So in the first picture,
I'm confident in my skill.
And
that's page 9.
Really
let me load them up here.
Not.
Let me load them up. I've got to. Oh, that's going to be page 2. I have some finished pages with lettering, sound effects, things like that. But okay. I'm just going to open up because I've got like 9 pages of this stuff. And
hey, wait a minute.
No,
is that Melissa?
Which
she
one?
Has an X over her eye.
That's when I saw that. And I've seen that before with the X over the eye, and I've seen that where what is it? Like the conspiracy theory of the all-seeing eye. And okay, I'm sorry. Tablet. All right, I got a XP Pen Artist 22R. I think it's called an Art 22. Artist 22. I think it was about. I almost went to the site to get it. I saved about. Oh, somebody help me with this shit. I've got like sex bots.
I can get it. 1 sec. You gave me a wrench a long time ago. I can get it. Give me a moment.
Why in the world did I do that for?
Because I'm actually a very responsible person, even though I'm a bitch.
I know. No, I wouldn't.
You're nice. I
wasn't gonna call you a bitch.
Sketchbook beat me to it.
That was me. That was when you hear me like mutter, mumble, grumble, gripe over sex bots. What I would like to know this. Why is it whenever Twitter is finding what do you call it?
Bots.
Bots, exactly. Bots. They're sending bots my way. They don't. Why do they always send me these chicks that are way outside of my taste range?
Same.
It's better
my only follower.
Right. I think it's better not to talk about some bad things. Reflect in the silence, spirit grow, learn and grow. The spirit with God to guide, console. Exactly. It's not good to complain because she's absolutely right. I mean, to be talking about my own particular, whatever you want to call it, flavor specifically.
It's a testimony. Are you talking about overcoming? Or are you talking about dwelling?
God is my Father. I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be putting my trust in Him, not in these flawed creatures that bore me. Do you know what I mean? And I don't mean like I'm like, you know what I mean? Like that.
Can I respond to Latin's comment a sec? Actually,
go for it.
Because I think the balance between that comment, because we're not supposed to dwell in the negative and be stuck in it and feel all this misery and self-pity and all that. But it's the testimony. There's nothing wrong with talking about the experience as an example, just like you tell your testimony in church or in groups where you've overcome things. Mm-hmm. What we've been through is part of who we are.
Right.
If you're dwelling in it to be negative,
I don't think there's any condemnation on her part.
I'm just explaining my position on it because I actually kind of like the question and I actually kind of agree with it in some ways. It's the difference between what are you reflecting from the lessons you've learned and are you taking all of that with you? Or in my case, there's certain medical things I have to warn people about because they can cause certain reactions in front of them. And I don't know when I'm going to have those reactions. Versus,
I can't believe I'm still hanging.
Are we just being negative and dwelling and being miserable and going, poor me, poor me, poor me? Right. And I will use my dad as an example of this. I asked him years ago with the muscular dystrophy stuff how he felt dealing with all of this. And I was a little girl at this time. And he looked at me and just smiled and said, well, I'd rather it was me than somebody who couldn't handle it.
I heard that very thing. One of my friends from high school who was out of the house. I was living on my own and I was trying to help him find a place to live. His dad had severe issues with flashbacks from being in Vietnam, like that typical archetype. Okay, where he actually would try to be a good father and play with his son, and in the middle of wrestling around with his kid, flash back to wrestling with an enemy at war and cold cock his own kid because he did not know that wasn't the enemy.
Oh no!
I know. I when he when he told me, I was like, "You're kidding." He's like, "No, like that really happened." Long story short, the last time I talked to him, he had like joined the army and gone through all that stuff, and basically, I wouldn't say follow in his father's footsteps because that's a like negative connotation, but he found his way. But he was living at a halfway house for about maybe a month and a half that had accepted his dad. They knew his dad's situation, and that's just where he was for that long before he joined the army. And he had sat in on a like a group of vets who were going through and trying to sort out their stuff the same way that anybody would. I guess that we are to a lesser extent. But the point is that this thing that you said was in that group, the exact same words. If there was to be some sort of an outbreak of violence or war or, worst case scenario, what would you do? And they would be like, I would pick up my closest weapon I could find or whatever and go to work because I don't want these people to have to go through the same thing that I did.
Can I comment real quick to my sketchbook here? Because those comments are actually the balance point. This is where, because yes, that's true. We're not supposed to focus and dwell on those testimonies. We're supposed to take them as lessons we can learn of God's wonders. And we're supposed to focus on our studies and stuff. It's the balance. It's the same way with the whole balance between like legalism and grace and stuff. Neither way is right without the other.
No,
the balance is in the middle.
Jesus said that worry cannot help us add height or change the color of our hair, but just for men can do that.
Just for us to meditate.
But that's
true. I mean, and I'm running about like a week behind. And okay, plug for anybody who is interested in getting some Bible content that. We have busy lives. I would, in fact, I'll just put the link in the chat here. I listen to a daily audio Bible.
Oh, we were talking about that one time.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good resource. Now, I'm not. I would say like I'm a user, and when I say like I'm a user, I would be like, what I should do is like maybe a portion, like maybe $10 or $20 a month, to this service, because they really it's a nice help. You, by the time you start listening from one end of you go Old Testament, New Testament, Psalms, Proverbs, and by the time the year is up, you have listened to the Bible.
That is what I was getting.
Like 10 times.
That's
but there's also some commentary, and coming from my background, where, and Eagle, you're going to know what I'm talking about, where it's not it's not word of faith stuff. This is good, healthy, historical, knowledgeable commentary.
Yeah.
A little bit of prayer. You get to know some people.
Yeah. Can I finish the point I was halfway through, because I'm starting to forget it?
Go for it.
I was explaining that difference, because that is the difference. Because this is what the whole battle I see so much with the church and the members in faith is that it's, well, we're supposed to tell our stories. We're supposed to show the wonders of God and all that. But it's also, we're supposed to be praising him. We're not supposed to dwell on the negative and all that stuff. Both can be true. And you can talk about the negative. You can talk about your testimony. You can talk about the things that you've been through without dwelling or being negative, and actually being, but look at me now. I've overcome that because God has helped me. You can do the same. You can hear people's testimonies, their stories, and not sit there and compare and contrite, well, what has God done for me? But say, look at this wonder. Look at our Father. Let me see his book, why he did this for them, and let me pray more for it.
Yeah, read the
because it's a wonderful thing.
Can you go back to the page?
It's all about your context.
Yeah,
it's all about how you do it.
He wrote down. He gave us a call, wrote down a message so that we would get it correctly, not word of mouth, through the idiot who was like, yeah, you got a call from somebody. I don't know. I didn't write it down.
Could you go back 3 pages?
I'm a bit of a sap sometimes. I do have that soft side. So
there is a page where Meat Hook is walking into someone's room, and he leans down to get on the face level. I really like that one.
I'm going to go through this. I'm going to go through this right now, and I'll give you the idea what here. So the book, and I don't know that this is necessarily the greatest idea, but I'm starting with the first page and ending with the last page, and I'm sort of documenting my what do you call it? My growth as an artist from one end of the book to the other. So like when you see some of these videos, like it says comic artist evolution, this is what it is.
Okay.
So this is page 1. You can see our hero up in the one corner on the fire escape, and he's watching everything that's going on down below. I've actually got lettering and stuff already figured out for this page. I've got a finished page. I just can't display it in this program right here. Okay. And then we're leaping off. We're taking out, wait a second, if you cannot see this cursor, let's see that. No. Anyways, we're taking out the light.
Yep.
Because what's happening here is that this is a closed security system. The people that are running this house of ill repute are not on any sort of a network because it would be too easy to hack. So it's basically CCR.
TV, yeah.
All right, CCTV, exactly. So he's taking out the light so that the camera can't record. And he's going to make this guy take him through the door because the door lock cannot be hacked. And he goes in. I don't know if you can see what's going on between these two, but he's got a hook between his legs and around his throat.
Wonderful dissolve considering the conversation I'm having in chat.
And using but using him as a human shield. Well, okay. Carl comes out of the bathroom and is talking about maybe going to a strip club later. and ends up getting kicked into the tub. You can see the crack on the tile there.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be meeting him later again once he wakes up. Mikey, who is the guy in the biker vest,
The guy with the meat hooks on him.
exactly. He's being led up the steps until his little tweaker buddy sees him come around the corner and accidentally shoots him in the face. And I've got to remember.
That sucks.
Yeah, it does. This is one of the things that I absolutely love. Anytime you see incredible violence happening to someone's face, an eyeball always survives to be illustrated in the panel.
Gotcha.
At least one eyeball always makes it. Well, I mean, we're trying to be realistic here. I mean, of course, Meat Hook is not going to stand around and wait for him to rack another chamber. And runs downstairs, and I wanted to make this shadow like some tall man in a horror movie coming after him.
Mm-hmm.
Runs downstairs. Our guy with the shotgun. He runs into the basement and pulls the main breaker for the entire building, because the guy in the helmet actually has the ability to see FLIR. He can see some like night vision. There's a whole bunch of technology happening in that helmet. It's sort of like Iron Man, but on a budget. Okay, so our guy with the shotgun, he's got his light on, and we can see Meat Hook is hiding under the steps. Hooks him in the ankle, drags him back towards himself, and then we can see what happens when you mess with Meat Hook. Well, we're looking for these kids that are somewhere in here because we got to rescue them. So we're like
kicking some doors
in, and then we find them. I wanted to be subtle about this, but there's a wheelchair, right? Which means whoever is in this nasty ass stained bed, and you can see here cameras and studio
lighting
lights,
equipment.
Which
what I liked was this frame right here, this one. I like that he got down on his level to like eye level sort of thing, rather than like standing above and intimidating the kid.
It actually did not occur to me until after I had drawn this that it was like I had read that somewhere. I mean, I'm not the best parent in the world, of course, but I had read that, so like if you're going to communicate with a kid, you want to get down to their level and not be intimidating. There's going to be times where you have to, or like don't run into the street or whatever.
But this is the one that I was talking about. I was like, man, could you go back to that? I really like that. I like that. I didn't know that you didn't plan it out, or you just told me that you didn't plan it out. But I really like that. It's
weird, the stuff that you learn about yourself when you're trying to draw a comic book. And then the kid, this is Jimmy. He's explaining that, and this page I need to spend some more time on. But that this girl April is over there, and she needs to be rescued too. So it's one of these, and this is something that a lot of this stuff. Honestly, I swear to God, I think it happens on a subconscious level, because I remember I was a single parent for about a year. Mm-hmm. I do not know if this gets colored. I might give it to somebody who's got a better idea of coloring than I do, because one of the things that I had in technically, can I draw? Yes. Composition, I'm still working on it. Color, that's not a class I did really good in.
Okay, look, blow me up a second. Look at this avatar. There's a reason for it.
Okay, I like that one, Eagle, but I really like the one of the cat too.
No, there's a reason for it, though. It has to do with what he was just talking about, actually, and I was going to give him a couple actual statements on it. Shading and coloring is actually very difficult on some things. It's hardest on some forms of skin tones and really dark colors, because if you do it wrong, the dark colors look really washed out and not very good.
Yeah.
This was one I did because I was actually doing a combination of Morticia Addams and Jessica Rabbit. So
that's what I thought. I could see that Jessica Rabbit.
But you can see the shadowing in it.
Once you say Morticia Addams, I'm like, oh, okay, now I get it, because I knew it wasn't her. I mean, I knew it wasn't Jessica Rabbit. There was a version of Jessica Rabbit.
But since you were talking about,
and this is the thing, like the attitude that I want to bring across in this book is. I mean, obviously it depends on the page, but one of the things that I mean, it's been influenced by so many things, but I really want the coloring to be very 7-ish when it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When I say that, you know what I mean? Like the David Fincher film 7.
Nope.
A lot of the
wait, 7 was made by Finch?
David Fincher.
That's not what I ever got into, so I'm actually not sure what you mean by it. So
David, this is if you're into comics, David Finch is a very talented artist in Canada. David Fincher is a director that directed Fight Club, Alien 3, 7. So he's done a lot of stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, 7 was in 1995. It's one of my favorite movies.
Exactly.
It's one of those I just didn't get into, and I watched it, but it's nothing against it.
Yeah, this story is.
So I don't remember the art style as well.
It's not even really the art style. It's just how everything felt very dirty, very offensive, very. If the story it could have been the story of Mary Poppins, but the texture and color of the movie made you want to.
So what you're saying is you want kind of that dark, kind of dingy, gothic, twisted kind of art style.
What is going on is the person that is under this mask, his daughter has been kidnapped because oh my God, this is complicated shit. His daughter has been kidnapped. He's trying to find her, and he has no other. I'm trying to be realistic about it. Nobody who's going to be a vigilante is going to have Bruce Wayne money.
Yep.
They might have Bruce Wayne's fighting skill. They might have Bruce Wayne ability to make armor. They might have Bruce Wayne ability to be a detective, but that's never going to exist inside one character. So the best thing that I could think of, as I'm going to try to make it realistic, is it's going to be one person doing one thing, another person doing another person doing another. And where would something like that exist? And it occurred to me, I was at a custom car rally, that all the people that could possibly make something that could do the most damage to somebody are the same type of people that work on motorcycles and cars. So that what we have here is a custom car builder who is friends with and is part of a custom car club. So that whenever this guy wakes up, I'm going to go real quick. This is Carl. He wakes up, walks out. I had to make sure we knew he had a gun in his back pocket. Okay. Because now our buddy Meat Hook is coming along. And you'll notice on the previous page, he's taking this hook out and he's walking down the stairs with it. He's got this sick girl in one arm, and he's got Jimmy going, what do you call it? Piggyback. And with one kid in one arm and another kid on his back, he's still with one stroke going to take this guy's head off. And then bust out of the door, run towards his friends who are in communication with him the entire time. Jimmy's going to crawl inside this nice big car. This sick girl is going to be handed over to the guy that owns this custom van. It's going to be up to our hero to drive, which you do not do when you have a helmet on like that. And
no peripheral vision? Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. There is stuff going on inside this helmet that we don't know about yet. We'll know about it later on. The thing is his daughter's mother died during childbirth. And his father-in-law was the was the carpool mechanic for the local police department, who is dirty. Okay, so you don't know who the good guys are. You don't know who the bad guys are. I mean, it's the more I started thinking about it, the more Dickensian this thing started getting. And I'm like, why am I making this super complicated thing my first comic book?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I've been thinking about this for like the longest time. I mean, I've had this
Go for it, man.
in my head for like since the 90s.
Hey,
I can even remember the name of the kid who there was a kid in 1995 or 6. No, it would have been 1997. It was a news story. This kid's name was Ryan Hackey, and he was in his car seat, in the back seat. His dad was getting gas, and this kid
someone stole the car.
No, his kid caught one in the dome at 2 years old from just people started shooting at each other in a section of Pittsburgh.
Oh, Pittsburgh. I was going to say, was that like a DC sniper thing? Okay.
No. But I know the thing you're talking about, but it was just this random kid goes. And you know what I mean? Like you're as a father, in 1 second, you've got your kid in the car seat, you're doing everything you're supposed to do, getting gas on the way home, and the next second, there's a hole in the windshield, your kid is dead. What would you do? Like, how pissed would you be? Like, are you saying that you have to sit there and wait for some justice system that you know doesn't give a fuck about you to do something?
But that kind of reminds me.
Yes, it was the 90s. It was 1995.
We have this thing called Megan's Law, and Megan was
Yes.
a girl that was on a trampoline.
Yeah.
Because people on New Year's Eve like to shoot their guns in the air because they're assholes.
Yes.
And she caught one when she was just in her backyard, jump on her trampoline, being an innocent child. You know, and she caught one, and it was because some asshole decided to shoot into the air. So now it's, you know, like they have sensors and stuff like that.
Shooting into the air does not
what goes
send,
up it must come down.
It does not send that bullet into orbit.
Yeah. So
and you can kill somebody with a penny if you drop it off of the Empire State Building.
Yeah, you can do a lot of damage, and like.
But it was when you're that thing where you get a new car, and you don't realize it at the time, but all of a sudden you just start seeing that car all over the place. Oh, that car is like mine. Same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I had kids, it was like every news story that I heard that had to do with little kids getting left in the back seat of a car, something like that, which is one of those things where you're like, that shit can happen to anybody because you've had this routine of life forever. And then you get a car or a car, and then you get a kid, and all of a sudden you're taken out of your routine. And now you have to go to the grocery store because everything changes. Everything is upended. Like there are people like brain surgeons, very smart people, who have, it sounds weird to say, fallen victim to, and I have to say it is
forgot.
Just forgot that there was a kid back there because it just wasn't in their wheelhouse. It was just a thing that you did. It was the bag of groceries that you put in the back seat and forgot about because somebody called you or you had another appointment later, and it's one of those, like, you have to forgive these people. But at the time I was like, oh my God, how could this happen? It's these children and whatever, and you know, we have to, like, but now it's different. It's not one of those accidental things. The stuff that we hear about in the news, it happens on purpose. The same kind of shit that we are talking with ourselves now, you know, Eagle, myself, and not necessarily myself. And if any weird trauma like a child rape happened to me, I honest to God don't remember it. And I'm not saying that anything like that, but I'm just like, to any one of us, all that crap that happened to you, to the extent that any of it happened on purpose, to the level of horror that it was, I wanted this person to take care of it.
Gotcha.
And I wanted this person to be I don't even think. But I wanted because when you think of Batman, like when you look at Batman, does he actually scare you?
No.
No, he's a guy who wears a fursuit and beats up criminals. He's a billionaire.
Exactly, and that's one of the things. I'm like, he's cool looking. You know what I mean? Like he's cool looking. I think he's great, and which is good. And
the
that's,
lore
and that's
of it is funny, yeah.
Right, but when I look at Batman, he doesn't scare me. What I want, this is the very, very first drawing I did of this character.
Okay.
And it was a long time ago. I had no idea. I was just like, I want to do something that reminds me of like just some like cool heavy metal thing that I'd see on like a Marilyn Manson video. So I drew this.
Yeah,
but
I got you.
I was like, I want to do something really cool with that.
I keep staring at that rotating helmet that's in the upper right-hand corner.
Yeah, I made that a long time ago.
The only thing I want to say about it is it reminds me of, do you know Futurama? Bender Bending Rodriguez?
A very little bit. If you're talking about a specific episode, no.
No, not a specific episode, but Bender Bending Rodriguez. Bender, the robot.
The robot, yeah, I know Bender with the big eyeballs.
Yeah. It makes me think of his head basically, but he has a little antenna that sticks up out of the top, and they make him cut it off.
No, I know who Bender is, right?
Yeah,
but sorry, this is like, I mean, there's big backstory to this character where, because you have to think about where they came from, and he was traumatized too. He had parents that did not care about him. The type of parent that would burn you with a cigarette butt on Christmas Eve and then gift you with a carton of Marlboros for Christmas Day. You know what I mean?
Right. Merry Christmas! You got Marlboro Miles.
What? So, but an angry person. One of the ideas that I've been playing with, and I'm not sure how I'm going to explain it, is, Unbreakable. Have you ever seen that?
I know what you're talking about. Bruce Willis.
Right. He's had no idea that he actually had a superpower. Okay, because it was so subtle. Thank you very much, Sketchbook, for. Oh yeah, you know what? You're right. It does kind of look like a Quiet Riot cover. I hadn't thought of that. But the idea behind that had to do with my political leanings. Like I had absolutely no use for the left, so I crossed that eye out. But in the story, his daughter has a teddy bear with a missing eye, and that's why everything about this helmet is it has dual uses. It's supposed to scare the fuck out of anybody that sees him as an adult. But the smiley face, and there are vocal inflections that play from this helmet speaker. There's somebody on the other end who's helping him. There's somebody on the other end who can see what's going on. And these little dots here represent motion sensors like you would have on your car to tell you when something is coming.
So you don't back into something?
So you don't back into something. Inside this helmet, there is like a super advanced, I wouldn't say super advanced as if it was already made. The technology that goes inside this helmet is stuff that's always not on the market yet.
Gotcha.
So the Oculus Rift that you're using is 2 levels behind what he's got in here.
Oh, dude!
And the reason why he doesn't have to turn his head around all the way is the same way like you would set your mouse settings super sensitive. So all he has to do is turn his head 1/4 of the way, and he can see behind him.
Gotcha.
But that's being displayed the way that Daredevil can see all the way around him. That's happening inside there.
One comment on this: my only real big criticism of the style will hopefully correct in colors, and that's just you have a lot more detailing lines in the other places as opposed to the helmet, so the helmet actually looks kind of flat compared to the drawing.
Oh yeah, I mean some of it you can see is inked and some of it is still in pencil. I actually drew this one.
I'll look at it both though. The helmet just comes off a little flat compared to the rest of the drawing.
Sure,
but that could be corrected by a good colorist. So
I was being in this particular drawing. I had been drawing him from the front for so long. I had no idea what the back was supposed to look like until I ran into that panel, I'm like, what do I do now? This whole thing is based off of Harry Houdini's straitjacket.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I could tell that. Sorry, that was obvious to me, but I was always a Houdini fan. Actually, I was called Houdini all the time as a child because when I was little, my mom had the freaking 7-point car seat that goes crisscross everywhere and across your stomach 4 times and all that. And I would climb out of it as a baby without undoing it.
I was thinking that nut hugging strap probably wouldn't be so comfortable. Especially
I tried to draw it as loose as possible, but I also don't want him being unmasked. Yeah, I don't know. I don't exactly know how I'm going. There's going to have to be at least.
You might want to find a way to tweak the crotch plate design still.
But I don't know. And that's how straitjackets work. Is they have like an under thing, and also what is it called? Wetsuits. I wore a wetsuit one time that basically you had pants and then you put the top on, and the top had a little tail that would come under and it would buckle up in the front.
This actually buckles up in the back.
To what Sketchbook said, the only reason I said correct is because usually you try to make it so whether you do black and white or color, the depth pops. And this one, most of the drawing, I'm absolutely agreeing, is actually well done, but the helmet kind of pulls the eyes away from the design a little because it's a little jarring to the artistic eye. And it may not be something that those who aren't artists would key into as much either.
One of the other things I had thought of was, like whenever he is busting out of the door here, where is it?
There's just a little something.
I added this like elbow.
That actually worked there.
Yeah.
It actually does work. It looks deeper there than the other one. It's not as awkward. The bottom one there, though, needs more
I'm trying
detailing.
to understand. Well, to your point, where you're talking about coloring, I am still up in the air as to whether it's going to be colored. So I have to think about. I mean, because if you know the book is going to be colored, there's work that you're not going to do with it.
Yeah.
But I had to like add elbow patches because I know that
as he just said, Sketchbook, he's not sure if he wants it colored or not. So the black and white needs to look complete.
And there's something unsettling about something that always has a smile on its face, but it's going to kill you.
Yeah, exactly.
I get what Sketchbook's saying, and it's also defending your art a bit, but I'm not saying this to sound like I'm tearing you apart. You said be honest with the parts that are lacking, and this is one where you could tweak it slightly, and the helmet would look a lot better and more.
It's almost unfair to ask people to tell me what they think because there's so much detail going into this thing. It's hard to say. Like for instance, like when I see these, it actually took me a while to go like, oh wait a minute, this jacket's been used so many times. That these patches, it changes over time. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, right here. Look at how nice and new that is. You know what I mean? Like none of this junk is on that old jacket because he had to escape from it somehow. And whenever he tore through one area so that he could get at whatever lock was on, they had to patch it back up. Things got freaking rivets on it. So there's points where I had to there's like on my design.
I wonder.
On my design.
Can you try and put that side by side with your design a sec?
I don't know if it'll actually show on.
Okay, I think I got what I was looking for though. Go back to your design a sec. The rivet idea being set on yours too isn't a bad idea, but you might want to make the rivets a little bigger and actually add a little more of the shape of like the bolt or rivet.
Yeah,
so it's a little more obvious what it is.
It's gonna depend
because right now it looks like dimple dots. Honestly,
on this, yeah, sure, but it's gonna depend. Like if I'm looking like close up, then I'll spend time making it look like rivets. This drawing here is just so that I knew what it basically just. I wanted to stay.
Yeah, this is your concept sketch.
I had no idea. Like, oh my god, why did I design? It's not just this, but why did I design this so complicated? Because I'm gonna have to remember all that, and then not just that, but this car. This is a 1964 Buick Riviera lowrider. I have to design a paint job for this and then make sure that it's the same every time.
See, I'm stupid, and I thought that it was a Mustang because of that little side port right by the wheel.
The louvers on the side port. No, look, I think it was either
not quite right.
Be a Mustang.
Honest to God, like either today or yesterday, I started because I was like, all right, I need to decide on a car for her, for this chick, for Trisha.
The one with the hat.
Yeah, that's her car. And that's one of the things that I think is going to be really fun about this book is that everybody has a car. This Chola girl who is like Shane, this guy, okay, that's this guy right here is his daughter is missing. He owns and runs his hot rod shop. He works on all this stuff. And it's this all a group effort. You know, all these people, like he works on this van, he works on her car, and she works in the shop too.
Co-conspirators.
Exactly. And they all have their own backstory. Darren, the guy in the van here, this hippie looking dude, he was on tour with his parents in a VW Bug. He was raised following the Dead.
Oh, the Grateful Dead, the
right.
Deadheads?
So not only is he an EMT, but he knows drugs because he was raised watching people trip on acid.
Also, EMT, I don't know how much you know about EMTs, but there's 3 different levels.
You're right.
There's EMTB, which is basic life support, EMTA, which is advanced, and then there's
a heart surgeon on call.
Yeah, there's paramedics, but usually they'll either use a paramedic or they'll use a doctor in those life flight.
Right, right.
Helicopters and stuff. Just letting you know.
No, yeah. You know, I mean, I knew about the helicopter. You know what? While we're talking about that, I have to show you this now that you mentioned it.
I wanted to be an EMT, but then I found that I don't like people all that much.
Who among us? You see if I can.
It took me a while to figure it out, but I was like, I you know, like
I'm the same. I mean, I like it's like a Tommy Lee Jones in the Men in Black. A person is okay. People, that's a whole other thing.
Right. No one's as dumb as all of us.
Pictures. I wonder if I can actually find this thing. But there was a life flight nurse that got stiffed by one of my a guy that I actually used to work with. God, did I seriously just click off? Okay. I used to work with at a different shop, and he said he would do it, and then whenever she showed up with this thing, he was like, I can't. So she showed up at my shop. I know this is way far back. I'll be amazed if I actually find it.
You're good, dude. Go for it.
But it was a retirement gift for one of the nurses that works Allegheny Hospital Life Flight.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I know it was, I know I'm getting close in the dates here.
You don't want to stiff that person. They'll be like, we're picking up who? Oh, yeah.
Never mind him. Yeah. No, I mean, she was like, I get it.
Making up excuses.
Yeah, can't do it. That dude cost me $700 deposit and then never followed through. Screw him. But you know, she told me the stories like, man, I've been left high and dry. I need this thing in a week. Can you do it? I know. It was like I was like, Steve, you asshole! I can't believe. You know, because this is one of those jobs where like they say like there are heroes and. Like, maybe not. Maybe they're just life flight nurses, and that's good enough. When
they make stupid amount of money, they make hundreds of dollars an hour.
Yeah, exactly. And
not to say that they deserve to get stiffed or anything. It's just
no. To make the same problem, I probably should have charged her more. And why am I looking here? It's on my freaking website. Anyways, it was a helicopter blade. They sawed it off because they updated the copter that they work on.
Mm-hmm.
So the helicopter blade that they were using, they didn't need it anymore. So they literally sawed it. and they sawed it in half.
What are they made of? Are they carbon fiber?
No,
Or are they
they're metal.
big, thick metal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This, I mean, here it is. Okay, I'll have to share. No, I won't copy image out. All right, everybody, I'm about to boomer.
Boomer it up, man. You're good.
Did
I won't tell nobody.
Did she bail?
She did.
I was talking too much.
Whatever. She's
okay.
good people. I've talked to her before, and she's just always been nice. But she's a little sensitive.
No. That's okay.
That's okay. Yeah. She's good people. I like her.
Me too. So that.
Oh my.
And let me see if I can get to the other one. Is that the new one? Wait.
Stat. Medevac?
MED.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be different pictures. Stop it. Why is it doing that?
Oh no.
Oh yeah. And this is all right. This is the old one. I had to put I had to put both of these on the same blade. So that was the old one.
Medevac.
And then they put
the
that
serpent
one
and the staff
on the other side of it.
On the back side?
No, I like one was on one side, one was on the other side. You see that text down there in the bottom left?
Bottom left.
It says Service.
Service. It looks like service, but
service, right. And that was
N81ME. Okay.
24 years of service.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah. Right. So
N15ME. So this is a different. This is a different one. N15ME.
They wanted me to put the old one on one side and the new one on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was I'll tell you what, that was really interesting, dude. I went into the computer. I had to. I do not know. Could have been, and I'll say family emergency, but we got a private check. Oh, she's got to go. Hey, thanks for hanging out for as long as you did. I mean, it's like 3:48 in the morning. I'm used to this. Not everybody is. It's a short weekend for me because Sunday I go to bed early and I get up early. And I think my wife may have been understanding me as a person by letting me stay down here all day, work on my stuff, and chat with people because it's been a week of non-communication with anybody that I know in the digital world.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
I've been watching your VODs. Like I tried to stay up the other night. Like one of them was at like 12. Your VODs, your video on demand, not the live ones. It's the when they get recorded and then you can play them again.
Oh yeah, okay.
I've been watching those, and yeah, I'll comment on them every once in a while.
I appreciate that. I mean, if you comment on them, they should show up in my email.
Yeah, every once in a while. It's.
I'm not asking to be a huge fan. I'm just like I want to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Oh no, nothing spectacular. Like I was it was you got those pencils from Max.
Oh
Murray.
yeah.
And Max Murray is such a cool dude. I like him so much.
He is, man. He is a nice guy. He's fun to talk to, but I'll put it this way. He's a Bronco.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's a Bronco. We'll put it. He's what's going on here in private chat? Nice to see you. Oh, okay. You're talking to. She's not here anymore. I don't think she can read that.
Oh well.
In the private chat, but I get it. Yeah. I'm going to go night at some point. Yeah. Make sure you have comments on your phone. The more interaction, the more algorithm. Yeah. I mean, I see stuff coming on my phone. If you're talking about like a setting that I'm supposed to set that I haven't set. One of the things I need to do is shoot some Afrin into my nose. Okay, so yes, when I say Bronco, what I mean is if he's an idea or a train of thought, hold on for 8 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it goes, I'm the same way. This stream is proof of it. It goes here and then there. And then there's this tangent and then it jumps over here. And
he knows how to tell a story, man.
The two of us are sitting there at one point going, all right, what were we talking about originally? Because honest to God, you need a map to get back to the X marks the spot of the thing that you were talking about to begin with. I think a lot of people are like that. He's very intense about his the ideas that he has. And I was making sure, because I didn't want to lose it in the private chat when the stream ended, that I was like copying all of the links and putting them in a sticky note, so that I could like follow them later. I just wanted to say thanks for sending me the pencils.
Yeah, he's a really cool dude, and like the way he tells a story, I don't want to bring the guy's name up, but it starts with an M, and he starts telling the story about this guy who was a naval something, and he goes into this long story. It's like 10 minutes long, and I'm like listening to it, and I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? And then he brings it around, and then it was that astonishing reveal moment. It's like, oh, that's what you're talking about. Wow.
I know. It's probably a really, really bad habit of mine to latch on to a part of an idea that somebody has in a story that they're telling. And look, and if Eagle took off because I do this, then I totally take all the blame.
Oh,
somebody will say something significant. I'll be, oh my God, dude, that exact thing happened to me. And then you're like, no, I need to talk now. And it's not a good trait.
I think that we're in the same time zone, and it's almost 2 a.m. here. So usually, like,
are we? If you think it's almost 2 a.m., then we are not in the same time zone.
No. Her and I think her and I are in the same time zone.
Yeah.
So, like usually when we're talking, I take off at around 3, just because I can't ruin the next day. You know, it's fun talking and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But
I have to go too.
Gotcha. I'm not going to bail just yet, but something I did,
because look who showed up.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Hey, Sketchpad, how you doing?
What's up, man? Oh, I still have the Sketchpad thing on. I forgot about that. I did that when I was on Vic's channel because of Fanta. That's what she calls me.
Gotcha. Sketchpad and Sketchbook are the same person, I hope.
Well, no, it was a joke. She called me Sketchpad, and I told her that was my son. That's not me.
I'm Sketchbook. He's Sketchpad. Right.
Your side.
Get it right.
Can you guys do me a favor? Just like talk to yourselves for like 2 or 3 minutes.
Sure.
Hey,
right, awesome.
So something I wanted to bring up earlier that I didn't quite get a chance to is I bought some new like nerd stuff recently, and it's nothing fantastic, but I bought an HDMI USB interface so that I can record stuff from, like the Intel NUC, next unit of computing. It's a small little like mini ITX computer, but also record like anything with HDMI, so like a Raspberry Pi or whatever.
Yeah, I've seen those. I'm not too familiar with them. They're big in the emulation space.
Yes, but what are those people that use? It's a Nintendo Switch. You can record Nintendo Switches with them, and also like a DSLR and stuff. So I got this thing, and it was like $40 or something. It's not too pricey, but it was really
basically
cool.
It's a video capture card, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But USB. And then also I got a USB.
Those are good to have, especially like for artists. A lot of people don't buy those, but they're really good for like DSLR cameras.
Yes. So
you could put your 1080p camera, hook it up to the wall and hook it up to that and video capture while you're streaming, and you actually get a lot better picture than you
and better coloring and everything. Yeah.
And then you get features too if the camera has any apps or any software to it.
Yeah.
You could add features to it.
I have a Canon that has that I use. Only time I ever use it, I use Magic Lantern. Magic Lantern is a software that you put on the SD card, and it loads onto the camera, and it's freaking fantastic. And the other thing that I bought was again, this isn't Mr. Moneybags or anything saying,
No, that's what I was trying to explain earlier, that like don't throw out numbers like, oh, it's gonna cost me like $2,500 or $3,000. I'm like, no, get that out of your mind. It's a lot cheaper than you think. If you keep that, you're just gonna buy into the machine of you need this, you need all these cores, you need all this, you need all that. I'm like, no, I did that myself just to learn how to build PCs and how they work and stuff like that. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go slowly. I'm gonna upgrade. Like I'll build one from, like, I want to do a video series on my channel teaching digital artists and content creators. Look, I'm just gonna take a small budget. We're gonna go to Walmart. Like, I'll record myself going to Walmart, and you see the price of this PC and monitor. It's gonna be like $300 to $500. I'm gonna take that, plus what it would cost with tax and maybe any insurance you want to buy, and I'm gonna put that into my budget. Yeah, and then I'm gonna build it. I'm probably gonna get it cheaper, and I'm gonna get better quality, and it's gonna be upgradable.
And that's what I did. But also, the last piece of hardware that I bought recently was a USB power meter. So you plug a USB drive into it. Sorry, it's basically like a thumb drive.
Without me.
Yeah, we're talking nerd stuff. And you plug it in, and then you plug into the other side a USB-A, and then you can tell how much your power draw your computer has and stuff like that. It's just neat nerd stuff, and I have a lot of joy in it. So yeah, but I've been a Unix sysadmin for like 15 years, and I write code and stuff like that.
Shit! I should talk to both of you guys and just.
I was a mechanic, and I learned electrical and electronics through stuff that we got to work on in the cars, and I just became much more interested in it because I was like, hey, if I could build me a gaming PC,
dude, you're going to be a valuable resource whenever I have to get into the nitty gritty of my character working on cars.
Oh yes, please get that.
Dude, right. No, seriously, like I was asking a cop friend of mine about a plot point in this story, and you'd be surprised the stuff that you can learn from a cop.
Oh, he's yeah.
Like, why do you want to know this?
I served with some people that were on the force. Yeah. When I went reserves, I served with police officers, and because I was in the Army, and then I was Army Reserve. I was active Army Reserve, and then I was reservist, and I served with Sheriff's Department. And
well, thanks for watching my ass.
Oh no. Thank you for the opportunity to serve. But that's the thing. Like, so many people, they say they do homework, and they really don't. Like, I went and looked at all because I am a fan of the Fast and the Furious movies, even though I know they're not good.
Yeah, I worked with a kid that was like really into that. I was like, and I am too as an action film, but
yeah.
Exactly. There's just some stuff that you're like, nah.
It's like, to me, I look at it like Ninja Turtles with cars. It's like all about family and the team.
Yeah, right.
Car driving, and of course it's going to be ridiculous. But the thing is that we laugh, we as car guys. Yeah. I'm not just a mechanic, I'm also a gearhead. And like, we laugh at like the stuff that they make, and I'm like, who wrote this? Like, did they bother to ask anybody that knows?
You're right, exactly. That's one of the things that I'm like, I'm not necessarily worried about it with this book, but I want to have respect for it, because if these cars, I want to be able to draw these cars close to what Chip Foose would do. Like, I want to be able to feature them. Because each one of these characters has their own ride. The state trooper character in this book is based on one of my friends who was a customer at first, but we've known each other for years. The only reason I can grill ribs the way that I can grill ribs is because I know this guy.
Oh, that's cool.
And I've done he's one of my customers, and he's done work on my house too, but he's a quote unquote, he's my black friend. Okay. But not really. He's just my buddy. You know what I mean? And we go out to dinner and stuff like that. But one of the characters in this book is based off of him. And he's the state trooper who's on the up and up. He's the Chip, because this happens in California, in a fictitious city called San Lucia, which would be St. Lucie.
Now, that's Southern California, right?
Southern California. It's supposed to be San Diego. I needed some kind of a map to work off of.
So you're doing a Rockstar?
Right.
Rockstar,
Vice City.
Florida, yeah, like that. Santos, San Andreas, right. San Lucia, San Andreas, right.
Los Santos is 3 of them mixed together.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's Los Angeles.
I mean, is there like familiar? They're working off of real world places.
Yeah, like the building the one that housed I think it's called Tower Records Company. It's in there.
And that's
the area around it.
Yeah.
Like if you you go down there, that's the area around it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd be really cool if they did something like that for a city. Like, well, you know what, they did that in
the video game
Fallout 3. Is it Fallout 3?
The other one called
Fallout
The Division.
3,
a really good one.
The Division Part 1.
The one before Vegas.
Fallout 3 is in the area of DC, and Fallout Vegas is in the
it's in DC,
in my desert.
It's in DC, but it's also in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
There's one of the DLC parts of it is in Pittsburgh. I'm like, this is the Fort Pitt Bridge. I'm trying to find my way across the Fort Pitt Bridge. And I'm looking at the skyline. I'm like, that's the PPG Tower. The same way, like when you watch one of the last Dead movies, Night of, Dawn of, Day of, Land of, the Land of the Dead. That's Pittsburgh. Now they did some stupid shit to PPG Tower, but that's Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
that whole thing.
Gotcha.
And then all of that, like Western Pennsylvania, that is all. That's where the zombie was born. The Walking Dead was born in this area.
No shit.
Like when you watch Night of the Living Dead, like the black and white version, Evans City is a real place. So you see it on the TV. Like that George Romero was doing that all around here. And it's all, oh, Latin's taking off. Thank you so much for hanging out. I met Latin through a channel called the Hoodservative.
Hoodservative?
The Hoodservative, yeah. Check him out. He's funny. I'm pretty sure it's been a while. I haven't been there. I have not been there in a while, which is what warms my heart that Latin A is still hanging out in my chat, because I haven't. I go there and I like the videos and I listen for as long as I'm able to.
Is Latin A male or female? Because I think it's Latina.
It's a very nice lady.
Latina then.
Latina. Yeah, well, I guess that's what did I say?
You said Latin A. Okay. No big deal. I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to roast it.
No. We all need an OCD friend to help us out. Look,
gotcha.
I tell my
from
buddies.
The Sonoran Desert.
I tell my friends when the tag on their T-shirt is sticking up and when they have a Snoogie hanging out of their nose, you're allowed to correct me if I'm getting someone's name wrong, because are we not men?
Right. Yeah. Okay. It's never to be disrespectful.
Latina. Yeah. Thank you very much. Like, in fact, if you're going to spell Latina and make it sound right, put an H at the very end. Latina.
I like it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dude,
yeah. No, I'm glad. I'm very happy. It always warms my heart to see somebody from a while back show up.
That's cool.
She's good people. What was my point? Tangents.
Well, before you got back, we were talking about just some technology stuff.
Yeah. And what do you guys charge over parts? Because this would definitely be a parts plus basis if somebody's going to build me a computer.
Bro, I live in Arizona. It wouldn't be worth the shipping.
Just for games.
Yeah. Just for games. I spent $2,000 on my computer, and I overpaid because I had to have one that worked, and I had to have one that worked right now. So
yeah, it was just like a gaming lap. It was just a gaming laptop with an HDMI plug port that I could put my TV in. Yeah, because that's really all I need.
Sketchpad. What I built was a 5800X Ryzen build with 32 gigs of 3600 megahertz RAM, 2 NVMe drives, a 1 terabyte Western Digital, 2 terabyte Western Digital that was 3.0, and then a 6600 RX video card. And I bought a new power supply and a new case. So that and a shit ton of fans. But
do you ever ask yourself why you don't just do this for a living, or do you do this for a living?
I'm trying to do it for a living.
Yeah, I do IT shit for a living, and I just needed a computer that worked. Yeah. And my last computer was about 10 years old.
Oh, really?
And that's when the water cooler leaked on my motherboard and just fucking shorted everything out.
Oh, was that an AIO or was that a custom?
A Corsair one. It was one of those single unit closed loop. closed loop buddies. Yeah,
all in one cooler.
Yeah, I got pictures of it somewhere.
Did you have the receipt? Because Corsair should be paying for your parts.
It was a 10-year-old build.
Way out of warranty.
Yeah, it was
way out of warranty.
Yeah. Remember AMD's? They had like a claw hammer and they had like a thunder hammer or some shit. It was one of the earlier ones, but it was like 10 years old and it was an 8-core machine. And then so I bought my new 5800X.
FX builds.
This is why I run a Mac.
Build. Yeah,
that's why I run a Mac until I decided I wanted to play a video game.
That's all I don't look. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate Mac users, or I don't hate.
Oh,
Mac,
dude, you're not going to get any kind of like weird prejudice from me.
How dare you?
Apple. I don't like Apple because I don't like what they do to customers.
But
there's Apple's as taking the human aspect out of it. Apple tailors the operating system to the machine, and I understand that. I understand the logic in that.
It's like whenever I hear a brand new digital artist or person trying to break in or wanting to make some digital art and get a comic book going, and they're like, "I'm gonna buy me a brand new iPad Pro." Like, I become like this old Catholic nun that wants to just smack your hands with
right. Put your hands out.
I'll tell you, like,
put your hands out so I can save you some money.
My iPhone 10 with the broken glass is over on here. My iPad is to my left. I've got a garbage can Mac and my Mac monitor and my XP Pen Pro. I've got 1, 2, 3 towers in here.
For me, I
guess the only reason that is because I grew. Well, it depends on how you grow up. I mean, when I was in 6th grade, we had Apple IIes. When I was in junior high, we had Apple IIe Pluses. The first computer that was ever in my house was an Apple IIc.
Back in my day when we're using the abacus.
Exactly. That Apple could count. But it was on a green screen, so you couldn't play games like Montezuma's Revenge where you had to see what color this key was.
I don't give a shit what phone other people use. Like for me, I'm cheap. When it comes to cell phones, something that I'm going to carry with me every day that I'm likely going to drop in the toilet one day or something. I'm not spending more than like $200 on a cell phone because to me, I break shit, I drop shit. That's just me.
Me too. Well, what are your and you guys are the guys to ask. What are your philosophies on security? Because I know that Apple is like, oh, security, this, that, the other, and blah, 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 and yada, 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 and they just work. But
go ahead.
Nothing's really secure, is it?
Correct. And it's one of those things. You're carrying a personal tracking device. So I spend maybe $200 on a cell phone, and that's about it. And like the one I have right now is
so that when the shit comes down, you can roll the window down on your diesel
and chuck it out the window.
Exactly, that runs on donut oil and just.
But I run a Motorola Motorola Moto G. Power 2000.
But you're not living your life through your phone, though.
No, dude, I hate cell phones, and like the only reason I have one is because I call my dad every weekend, and other than that, like
that's nice, that's cool.
Like I get phone calls occasionally, but almost all of them are like we would like to talk to you about the extended warranty on your vehicle.
I got a call and a voicemail this morning that I woke up to that they wanted to know. I love this. This is great. From an electric company that I do not use, that I was 14 days late on my bill on my electricity was going to be shut off.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah, dude.
Did you really think I was going to fall for that? But then I was like, some old lady out there is.
Yeah. And not to shun you for having an iPhone or anything. It's just, that's not, I had an iPhone 7 a long time ago. Before I got my phone.
Loved it.
And the thing is that the battery life went from working to like only giving 30 minutes, and I
let me guess, you updated it.
Yes,
exactly.
They're getting sued for that shit, but I just don't care enough to.
Yeah, exactly. The one class action lawsuit that I don't get any mail about.
Yep.
And I get class action lawsuit mail for shit that I thought, like, what the fuck? There's a class action lawsuit on like some weird Arby's sandwich or
hardware,
something.
It's forced. You have to upgrade it or it locks it.
Yeah, they'll mess your stuff up, and I'm not down for that.
Artists that bought iPad Pros, the ones that are like 2 years old, and they're slowing down. And 2 years ago is when they brought that M1 chip out.
Yeah, they do it intentionally. I just don't like Apple as a company. I don't like, and I'm not fans of Microsoft either.
This is going to be really terrible to say, but I don't care. Like, I liked Apple until that fag took over.
Yeah. Well, we're 2 hours in. You're good. You can say whatever words you want.
Oh my God! Really? Seriously?
Yeah.
Can I play music? You guys want to talk about some of the most awesome stuff I've ever heard in my life that you never heard on the radio? You want me to evangelize my greatest metal band ever? Let's do that. I'll drive off my last 2 listeners.
Right.
But I just never really got into cell phones, and that's like, I don't like being constantly in contact. And part of that is because I had a job where I was like, for 5.5 years, I was on call 24/7, and I never got a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
So you have PTSD from that.
Oh, dude, man, like big time. Every time my phone would ring, probably all the hair on the back of my neck would stand up, and I'd be like, I was like, this bitch is calling me. She's gonna yell at me. Oh no! And yeah, she quit before I left. But
no, there's jobs I literally walked out of, and I'm like, I
walked out of working at a grocery store deli once, but that's nothing really big.
Yeah, I told them, I'm like, I handled the pressures of war, like where I could have lost my life, and the anxiety that you as a boss gives me. Yeah,
is worse than that.
Yeah, bro.
I would rather literally say I would rather be shot at than be at this job.
Sketch, man. One time,
are you seriously? Is that what you're saying?
When I left that
job,
oh my God, you Americans suck so bad. I would rather get shot at.
I walked away from 6 figures when the company was sold, and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. And then they were like, well, we still need you. And I'm like, well, I'm leaving, so bye. And then
exactly, then you use the real N-word. The real N-word. You need me. No. Well, yeah, no is good. Exactly.
No is a complete sentence. But I walked away from that, and I was just like, leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you. And they're like, well, we're gonna need to be able to contact you for emergencies and stuff. What if we pay you a couple $100 an hour?
Where do I punch in at this point? That's called being a consultant, and it's going to cost you 3 times as much.
Exactly what happened, dude. I was making well over $100 an hour for 15 minutes, telling them how to do stuff.
That reminds me, I got to send a letter out to my body shop.
I used to work, like when I trained as a mechanic, and then I started getting jobs. I was working hourly still.
I'm sorry. I do want you to continue with your story, but you
go for it.
Got to tell me where you're from.
South Texas.
South Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. God bless you. Thank you for being there. I hope you are enjoying your life in South Texas. Please continue.
What brought that on?
I was curious where you're from too.
Well, one, like your accent, and then you're a mechanic, and I was thinking like I was thinking like, SoCal.
I was thinking Florida for some reason, but
no, cool. He sounds more Mexican than he does Cuban.
Sketch.
Well, I'm first generation American. My parents are from Mexico.
No, but I love you.
Book, not Sketchpad. There we go. I was
sketchbook. Yeah. No, I'm down. But I would like to know, like, how is it that your avatar isn't in a circle?
Because I put a picture. I don't know. My avatar, my original avatar, for some reason got attached to another part because I have different channels all in one space.
Yeah,
and it got attached to a different channel, and I haven't been able to reclaim it from it for some reason.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
So my original avatar is the one that you see whenever I whenever I comment, you see my hand.
Yeah.
My drawing hand. Yeah.
Oh, that's your drawing hand? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, whatever is happening, I believe that the 3 of us are going to be the next great Twitch sensation.
You know what? Dave, I really like talking to you.
I'm glad.
Sketchbook. This is the first time I've met you, but it's nice talking to you, and also I like being able to nerd out on stuff.
No,
he's leaving. He's leaving. I can tell it. I can smell it on him. He's leaving.
No. At three. I promise. At 3. But before you got here, I was talking about I bought a USB 3.0 HDMI interface, and that I can plug into mini computers and stuff like that, because the stuff that I really like is like technology. And I came into technology when I was in like high school, and I didn't have any money. And like basically I was learning off of other people and IRC chat and shit like that. So whenever I learn something or I can figure something out and I'm like really good at it, I try to pay it forward. I try to share it with other people. And I got this this HDMI capture card.
Then you should have kids.
Oh yeah, maybe.
I mean, you want to pay everything forward after that, man. You pay everything forward, and once you have kids. But please go ahead.
But yeah, it's just something that I bought, and then the USB power interface that just tells me what things are using, and that stuff's neat. But the capture card was like $40 or something, but it's super freaking cool, and I really like it. It's just sometimes like it'll cut out if I don't use it a whole bunch. So, but that's just kind of USB stuff is kind of junky, anyways. But it's really neat.
Versus what?
Like an integrated card, like
you're plugging into USB versus a
card that goes in your motherboard,
piece of hardware inside. Okay.
Yeah, because Ashinator. I try not to talk about people who weren't present. She has a card in her computer that she uses to capture PS5, PS4, something like that, and Xbox. And her husband's really cool, and she's got one of those Elgato capture cards, but that thing was like $120. Yeah, I bought mine for $40. So I was like,
I'm very curious about that.
I spent like $60 on mine. I got an EVGA one.
I'm very curious about that, though. I mean, don't the newer consoles just let you stream from there?
They let you stream from Twitch, but they're okay. Here's the thing: a lot of people don't know about the consoles, and every time
I know, but way better than me. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've got a PS3 upstairs and a 360 downstairs, and I'm not doing anything.
They're GPUs with added VRAM to run OS or user interfaces, the UI. That's all they are. The Xbox Series S is a 6600, an RX 6600, and the Series X and the PS5s are 6650 XTs.
Sir, are you making fun of my 6600 RX? How dare you?
No, oh my God, I am so out of my element. You guys are talking like this is like being an algebra. No, like if I can do the research, I can find a piece. I can find the RAM stick that I need to upgrade in my Mac and stuff like that. But you're talking about. I love you to death because you sound seriously. You sound like one of my customers when they pull the hood up on their car, and they're like, "I got myself a tri-power manifold on this 8-cylinder, so many whatever liters, blah blah blah," and I'm just like. I'm just pinstriping your car.
Yeah, buddy. I'm just looking to put some paint on it.
You guys are like throwing out numbers and stuff. Oh, and on this case, I'm like, I'm trying to match what you're saying. I'm trying to match what you're saying to the Xbox 360 and this old El Capitan Mac that I have sitting over here. I'm like, I have absolutely no chance of playing any cool games across Steam with this big gray box with an Apple sticker on it.
What's funny to me is that you referred to one of your Macs as the trash can one.
Well, that's the round one. That's actually
the round one.
It's called the trash can model. It actually has, when they advertised it, it had a plant,
Aren't you supposed to water plants?
Like a house plant.
I think that would be something you wouldn't want to.
It was probably plastic, and no one ever kept it in the top there where it sat in there because it would interrupt the fan flow.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's just nerd stuff, and if it makes you feel left out, we can.
No. Yeah, as I said before, are we not men? I'm just laughing at the look. I know there's stuff that I know about the things that I know about. Like, do you know? Do you know how to competency? Do you know how to rinse out and care for a sword brush Mac 10 made with a gray squirrel hair? Probably not. And if I say I'm a needle dick, that's actually a compliment to an airbrush artist. It's okay. Like I have my realm that I'm comfortable in. I'm just tripping out on you guys talking about like letters and numbers.
Needle dicks unite.
I'm in a math class and I'm about to fail.
Okay. No, I'll spew a little bit of your stuff out. ID. Can you do, or have you ever witnessed somebody do true flame?
I do fire. Yeah.
You do true flame like Mike used to. Mike LaValle?
Mike LaValle, the late Mike LaValle. Yeah, man. I'll share. This is my stream. I can do anything I want.
Right. It is your stream, buddy.
All right.
Well, just so you don't feel left out. Like I could talk car stuff with
actually,
you.
I mean, as long as I know you're a car guy, man. As long as this is my stream. Oh my God! I can't believe I'm going to do this to you later. I'm going to do this to you later because I know that you are man enough to take it. I always just thought that this is funny, and I'm going to show you this first though.
Go for it.
Share screen. I'm saying out loud so that I don't. All right. See that?
Oh my!
That is nice.
Okay. So that's some true fire. Let's see. I mean, you can go through all of this stuff on the. Why is it doing that? It's going the wrong way. Oh, I love this one. That was a Vampirella.
That's on a gas tank for a motorcycle, right?
That's actually a gas tank cowl on a V-rod. They actually the gas goes under the seat. And this is just something that goes in front of the seat to make it look like it's a gas.
It's got a gas tank.
Yeah. That's Keira Knightley as Queen Guinevere in Anton Fuqua's 2004 version of King Arthur, one of my favorite movies.
No kidding.
I love that.
The way that she's holding that bow. I used to work at an archery shop.
Yeah.
That kind of makes me think you don't see the front tip of it so much.
Yeah.
Basically,
I got lazy near the end. The guy wasn't paying enough.
Oh, gotcha. I was gonna say like what one of the things I used to have to do is measure people for arrows.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
That's a little bit of a pain in the ass, but you measure someone for arrows and then you cut them to their length because
the draw
shooters,
exactly.
Different draws and stuff like that. But
yeah, I got lucky. I got a bunch of really nice arrows.
Look at that one! Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this was different. This was you could see her body form as long as it was behind that leather. And if it wasn't, it was all rotted flesh.
Looks sort of Lady Deathy.
Yeah, kind of. There's some real fire there. You guys see this nose?
Dude,
you see like his nose? Mm-hmm. You see that pattern in his nose?
Do you remember the game?
That's the
Twisted Metal.
Yeah,
I see a lot of the stuff that you draw as like these clowns, like evil clowns, and I don't know. That just kind of brings me back to it. But
yeah, that's a popular motif. That's a very popular motif with airbrush.
Gotcha.
But you see his nose. You see that pattern in there. And maybe I can blow this up on my. Is it blowing up on stream? Oh shit! Everything around it is.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe you can right click and open a new window because I've got your homepage pulled up, but I don't see that one just yet.
It's not showing up on stream. Well, suffice it to say that that nose is literally the rear brake light.
Oh no shit!
Yeah, it's in. So when the guy hits the brakes, the nose lights up. That's a front fairing. There's that copter where I was talking about before. It's actually on a
an A1ME.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's real fire.
That's nice.
This is a drawing I did for a guy that never got anything done. But I remember stressing out about this Reaper's right arm. I wanted it to be like, it's got to go in the back. It's got to look like it's going back. But I want to get the shape just right. Man, the only reason why I bothered putting that in my gallery at all is because I remember stressing out about making it look just right. And the guy never called me back. Anyways, I'm sort of going through whatever stuff you guys.
I gotcha.
Dude,
this is stuff my dad would absolutely love. I know the type of art that he's into. Yeah. And that's the type of stuff that he would absolutely love.
If you go to the private chat, and I say it all the time, it's in my Linktree, of course.
Yep.
But it's the website's in there. You can go through the gallery and all that stuff. But that's the kind of talent that I want to bring to bear to this comic book, because I know it's odd saying this, but the kind of what it takes to put a comic book together is, I think, harder. It's more difficult than everything that you saw there, because everything that you saw there is just wielding one tool, listening to what your customer wants, and then putting it on there. This is different. This is listening to yourself, writing the story correctly, composing the frame correctly. And you have to deal with a printer, and then you have to like sell the thing. There are so many moving parts in a comic book. I honestly believe, even though this is something I wanted to do when I was a kid, I ended up moving into custom paint because dealing with the people and the process of it was easier.
I gotcha. And
more expensive, but easier.
To me, it sounds like writing a book. Like, not to say that comic books aren't books, but
they are.
It seems to me like the difficulty of, wow, there's a whole lot of moving parts, and it's not just you.
It's not. I know. I guess what I mean is to say is, and not to interrupt, but
go ahead.
Doing a comic book is more intimidating than everything that you just saw.
Yeah.
Because all I had to do was replicate a helicopter. All I had to do was replicate a texture. And then beyond that, it is the hardest
telling the story.
Well, the hardest part of all of that was understanding the chemicals of what makes a good primer, what's a good finish, what's a show finish. Is PPG better than House of Color? Should I be using Sherwin-Williams for this? And what kind of gun and needle and spray booth and blah, 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 and all this other like technical stuff that doesn't have to do with the human equation. The human equation always came down to, what do you want? I don't know. Give me a Reaper. You don't know what you want. Let me get to know you a little bit better. And in some cases, I found some really great friends in trying to give them the very best custom paint job that I possibly could. But this comic book thing isn't that. None of the customers that I ever had doing custom paint understood anything about composition, color, or anything like that. The people who are going to be reading a comic book, they understand that stuff. They're like the really good critics, people who understand art on a base level. And I don't mean just pictures, but story, and not just composing one panel, but a whole page. And you know what I mean? It's like there are levels of challenges that are coming along with this thing. And then you're making it personal. So you're really putting yourself out there, and it's kind of scary. So like if I'm showing off the work that I did in custom paint, learning how to airbrush and tool and pinstripe and whatever, it's almost like it's not nothing, but it's less personal. It's not as existential as working on a comic book. because you're always, it's somebody else's idea. Okay, fine. You don't have to care about it that much. You have to make it look right, and the finish has to be right, and all of the technical aspects of it have to be good. But you're not actually putting anything personal out there. This, I can tell somebody is going to say, oh my God, that dude's weird. Why does his character look like that? Why are there kids involved? And, someone's going to take this whole thing the wrong way. Someone's going to look at these cars and tell me that I don't have my lines right. You know what I mean? Or I mean, maybe I'm thinking about it too much.
No.
Okay, good. Seriously, because I feel like I just stepped down from a podium and I was like, all right.
I get what you're saying.
What did I just say?
You were talking about the lines and also old.
No, what I mean, like, if somewhere in the story someone says, well, Trish she owns a 1964 Buick Riviera lowrider, it better look like a 1964 Buick Riviera lowrider in every panel. And Sketchpad knows what I'm talking about.
Yep. If you're saying something, it should look exactly like it, or so doggone close that it's not gonna
at least be recognizable.
Yeah,
from one panel to the next, at least be recognizable. And I'm introducing it in this panel, and this is one of the things that freaks me out a little bit, because whatever design I put on this hood and this roof and this deck lid is going to have to be the same every time.
Yeah, when you said it was a Buick, I was like, it is? It's like, I can't see the front of it, but this fender right here had me thinking it was a Dodge for a minute there, but I'm like, but that trunk doesn't look like a Dodge. It does look like
a GM. It might be a little too short, and thank God it hasn't been inked yet.
No, like the trunk design, the Dodges are more rounded. They look like big fastbacks, but these are more squared. The GMs were more squared in that era.
Yeah. Well, one of the hardest things that I've had, and this is the first panel that you see this car in, and the hardest, this is the best version of it I can find. Let's see, go back to here. Because a lot of this has to do with angle. Okay, so there's that little hump of the right over the taillights, and there's that little crease. So you can see where I'm saying, like, the trunk might not be long enough.
Right, it makes sense now. I was thinking like Mustang with a,
you can see him right there, right in front of the rear tire. Those two little. The 65 doesn't have that. The 65. That's right in front of that rear wheel. That's smooth. Now, I found on Etsy a little Hot Wheel of this model car so that I can hold it and turn it, you know what I mean? And like look at it and use it as a little model. Fucking cost me $20. And just so that I can get the body shape right. And then I was actually like looking for like a model of it. Apparently the 60. Oh, look at this. Sketchpad's working on some stuff.
This is the cover for Rick's remaster of his Canadian Shield. He asked if I wanted to do a cover, but I just been dealing with a lot of stuff. In my life, so I should have had this done months ago.
Is it going to turn out for you?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna.
I mean the stuff in your life. I'm like, no. Yeah.
Oh, dude!
Anytime somebody says like stuff in my life, I'm like,
because I've been out of work for like almost a year and a half now.
With your talent,
I almost collapsed at work, and they couldn't figure out, the VA couldn't figure out what the hell's wrong with me. So
Gotcha.
one doctor.
You're in South Texas. You're in South. No, I'm going to go into problem solving mode, and I don't want to do that because I don't.
Well, no,
know,
they're finally starting to zero down like what might be causing everything, and I'm finally starting to get treated. But like the last few months were just like hectic for me, like being in and out of the hospital. And I wanted.
Where did you work,
bro?
I was a technician for the Lexus brand.
For Lexus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when you say technician, what do you mean?
Give it
to me. Give it to me in 1970s terms.
I inspected the used cars that they bought or they took in trade, and saw if they were viable to just put in a few bucks and flip them. And then whatever they needed in repairs, we would repair.
So where did the stress come from? You tell them this car's fucked.
No, personal life. I enjoyed my job.
Okay. Well, personal life, I mean, I don't need to know about unless you want to go into something. I can stop this. I can stop this stream if you want to do something private, but I don't.
I'm just saying.
I got problems too. Maybe you can fix mine.
Yeah, buddy. That's the only reason why I hadn't finished this.
Yeah.
And hadn't put the time and the effort that I was putting into it when I first started it.
Yeah.
Because I actually started, I started doing delivery apps and stuff like that, and I was starting to pay off my bills. So I'm like, I gotta catch up on my bills, and I'll be back on this. And I ran myself ragged for a little bit, and I'm like, I need to slow down. I need to slow down with everything.
But this is your passion, obviously, the Canadian Shield. Doing artwork in general.
Yeah. I'm actually developing 3 different titles. We're trying to get 10 different titles, but we've been working on this we haven't been working on these specific titles for years, but since we were in high school, my friend and I, we were off and on about making a studio. And he's huge into novels, but he's also a graphic designer. And
great.
He's like, I don't want to do a comic book back in the day, so I never brought it up again. But after like the whole CG broke out, and I'm like, you know what? I think I should try to do a comic book. But I didn't want to just like do a comic book like everybody else's. I wanted to do something different. So the way we're gonna do it is, I told him, this is how, if I'm gonna do it, this is how I want to do it. I told him I'm gonna choose the 3 biggest archetypes in superhero comics, and we're gonna develop 3 different titles.
Titles.
And then we're going to do the origin. It'll tie most of them in together. I told them if we can, if not.
Yeah.
But we're also going to develop extra titles just in case these kick off. And the ones that don't make it, we'll recycle the characters into other books. But, we'll keep working at it. And I told them I don't want to do a crowdfund right away.
Yeah.
I
don't want to do a crowdfund right away either, only because I know that is an aspect of all of this shit that I don't know about. The technical aspects of drawing is drawing characters is one thing, but being able to sell it, that's a whole other talent, which I got to hand it to him. EVS has I want to say he's got a corner on the market, but I've always thought, if I was to compare it to being a fan of AM talk radio, like in the 90s, you like listening to Rush and.
Are you talking about Ethan Van Sciver?
Ethan.
Okay.
That John Malin. There's a lot of people that got into the independent comic book scene earlier than he did, but when he finally showed up, I think he understood the marketing aspect of it better than anybody else.
That makes sense.
To whatever however you think about him, whatever his personality is, if he's offensive or not or whatever, the numbers don't lie. And I think John Malin was involved in the independent comic book thing before he was. If you were going to say, who was Comicsgate first? Wouldn't it be John Malin before it was Ethan Van Sciver? Exactly. And before there was a Rush Limbaugh, there was a Paul Harvey with the rest of the story. Remember that? I don't know if you do remember that, but they, like in AM Talk Radio,
remember Paul Harvey, but
yeah, in AM Talk Radio, there was somebody who was doing it before Rush Limbaugh. They just weren't doing it as good as Rush Limbaugh. That's all I mean. Like John Malin may have been there first, but he wasn't doing it as good. But what you're working with here is that do you have your screen flipped? Sketch? He muted himself.
He's muted, yeah.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say, do you have your screen flipped?
No. Why?
What program are you in?
Oh, this is a free program. It's Fire Alpaca.
Wait, I can. Oh,
you see the little alpaca right here?
Yeah. Okay, there it is. Who was using that the other day? Jimmy YouTube was using this the other day. Gotta get rid of this thing off my.
Jimmy YouTube. All right. Yeah, I talked to him today.
Yeah. He does. Yeah. He does okay. I'm trying to get.
I think today,
I'm trying to get this rotating head off of my. There it is. There. Okay. I'm trying to get the rotating head off so I can see like the whole screen. Hey, look at this. Jessica's in California, I believe. I don't mean to.
Hi, Jessica.
But there's only 2 guys here. Can I get 2 subs for Jessica? If you guys are not subbed to Jessica already, Jessica Reloaded. Are you or aren't you?
I subbed, and there's this one guy who's a mod who likes to ban me, so I don't sub there anymore.
Yeah, but I think.
But Jessica, I like her.
But I think Jessica likes you, so whatever.
Yeah.
I like Jessica. I think she's pretty smart. And honest to God, whenever I'm watching like her replays and stuff, she puts her she does that stop. Did you like and subscribe to this video? Right in the one part where like, all right, I'm engaged. I'm totally buying into this thing. I'm gonna ante in. And that's exactly what she puts that shit in there. Like, oh yeah, you know what? I usually like it right before I go in there because it's Jessica's, because that's you like Jessica's videos. Mm-hmm. Even if you're not going to watch them, you go in there, you like them, and then you go on about your business. But you probably should put your 90 seconds in there. So Sketchpad, if you want to be in the inner circle with me in my personal life and all of the weird slimy dirt that goes along with it, you're going to have to sub to Jessica Reloaded.
What is it? What is this, Captain Canada? What are we doing?
This the Canadian Shield. You know what I like about him? It reminds me of Guardian. The Guardian from Alpha Flight.
Oh yeah, I don't know if he's based off of that.
Oh, I don't think he is. No. I don't think he is. But I remember. Okay, I was not allowed to collect comic books when I was a kid because it was all part of the satanic panic. And that's just how things went. But every once in a while, we would have to go into this Jeffrey's drugstore on Niagara Falls Boulevard. I'm going to share this version of him because I like this version of him. And there was an issue of, there it is. There was an issue of Alpha Flight where this guy right here, he got his ass beat so bad that there was an entire page that had 9 panels in it, and it was a countdown, and the letters are nice and thick. 10, 9, 8, and all he had to do was unplug this thing from his suit, and if he didn't, he would die. And the entire reason this one comic book was not sold was because the saddle stitch was 2 inches off to the right. It was folded correctly, but the staples went through the absolutely wrong part of the comic book. And every time I went into that store, I read that book and I got to that one part. And it was the one issue of Alpha Flight where Guardian died. and after that, his wife took over. But I always loved this suit right here. It was I totally dug the color of it, and it reminded me of the design. It reminded me of the design sensibility that went into the 1984 girls gymnastics team, where the American flag was set on an angle. Remember, if you guys are old enough to remember Mary Lou Retton.
Yeah, I was going to say that was Mary Lou Retton, right?
Exactly, you're right.
I don't remember I don't remember that because that was before my time. But the American flag is one of the few flags in the one of the few flags in the world that, you know, how service members will have a reverse flag on each shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'll have a flag. Well, the thing is because the American flag is to be shown where the stars and bars are they're on the front of it, and it hangs from the back, and the pole leads first. And a lot of the flags are supposed to be like splayed out, and you look at them that way. But that's why service members have, you know, they'll have different patches and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like you always have the stars on one side and the stars on the other side, and they'll be reversed. But that's why the American flag is like the American flag. It's unique in its own right. So
it is unique.
Yeah, it's not reverse. It's called the charging flag.
Charging flag. There we go.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you, guy who was in the army.
It's only supposed to be worn when we're at war. That's the only time. If you're not at war, you don't wear the charging flag.
Okay.
Right. And then also,
and the star field is on which side? Because I remember looking at that.
When you're displaying it, it's on the left. But when it's the charging flag, it's on the right.
Yeah, and then also the carpet in the Oval Office is changed basically when it comes to wartime. You'll see the eagle has 2 feet, and in one it has an olive branch, and the other it has arrows. And if we're in wartime, the head will be pointing towards the arrows. If we're in peacetime, it'll be pointing towards the olive branch. And that's another thing that they just kind of
Lord, I can't keep track of this.
I
cannot keep track of this inner circle Illuminati symbolism that happens. Meanwhile, look at my logo. The only reason why I bothered to put that I down there because at the time I was like, I'm going to tweak every single conspiracy theorist out there. And I'm just going to say, no, it's okay because the triangle is upside down. So it's okay. Meanwhile, I was like, nobody around my area wants to spend money on what I do. So when I put this on my business card, I want it to look like money. I spent a lot of time. Not only do I want it to look like money.
That way you use the same green color?
Exactly. It's not totally white. It's like dirty money. How many times have I told you not to play with the dirty money, baby finster? That's that color. Right.
I've always liked your username as Identity Crisis, just as like something thinking of an older dude, you know, saying, yeah, it's Identity Crisis time. No, and I always thought that was stupid funny. You know?
Well, I would you like to know the story behind that one?
Sure.
When I first started doing like airbrush and pinstripe and stuff, this was like a long time ago. The business that I was working for in ad specialties, I did screen print graphics, embroidery, and all that. And then I had to go out on my own because it's just
gotcha.
it was being led by an idiot, and I had to go out on my own. And I thought to myself, well, if I'm going to go out on my own, I should have a thick skin. So I called my business Thick Skin, THIKSKIN, logo, business cards, everything. Everybody wanted to know if I did tattoos. It had not occurred to me at all.
No shit.
In the biker community, that because the name Skin was in there, they all wanted to know. I was like, no. I run into enough freaks as it is. I don't want them right next to me for hours at a time.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Listen here, sir. How dare you?
Right. I got involved with some guys from a town, a couple of towns away from me, and Paradise Paint. So I sort of smeared and blurred out of that name. And whenever the partnership ended, I was scrambling for a name, and I said to my daughter, we went to a pinstripe meetup, not too far away from me, just a bunch of old guys. I mean, barbecue, drinking, just slinging pinstriping paint and stuff like that. And on the ride home, I was like, I don't know what to call. I like that everybody's got such an interesting business name. I don't know what to call myself. I seem to be suffering from this identity crisis.
Dude, you know,
right?
What
and because
funny to me with the whole dealing with bikers and stuff, like, do you do tattoos? No, but I got some mean face paint.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'll make you look pretty. And I've done that before. I've done like temporary tattoos and stuff.
I'm gonna make you look pretty. You're gonna be gorgeous.
It's all kids though. It's all like soccer tournaments and bar mitzvahs and oh man, you want a hard Saturday night? You airbrush boxer shorts and beach towels at a bar mitzvah. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I'm just
so
joking around, but that would be so funny, like big old hardened bikers. Like, oh, I'm
yeah. I want some face paint. Give me some face paint.
I need a butterfly right here on my cheek. You know, like, that would make me laugh my ass off.
But anyways, the point being is, I figured if I called myself Identity Crisis, I could move into any aspect of art at all and not have to change my name.
I like it.
I know it's multi-functional,
and like it's not a bad name either. You know what I mean? You're not.
I mean, it depends. I know there's a lot. Watch the news. I see a lot of people with an identity crisis.
Oh man.
Yeah. And not only that, but like, okay, so winning reality or America shirts. I love both of them to death. Hands together in prayer. I love those guys. That's great.
America is good people. I like it.
Exactly, but I can't believe he hasn't picked up on my all-seeing eye and been like, I don't know about you. Because he was going off on Elon Musk's devil costume. The one time, like, I don't know if he meant anything by it. And it didn't occur to me at the time. I go, look at my logo. Do you not like me? Because, like, if you look at, like, on my business card, around this eye, there's a Latin around there that says, God bless the hand of the artist. And I actually had to check with my son who was going to West Virginia for music composition, but there was a language professor there that could do a better job than Google Translate on what that Latin is supposed to
be. Google Translate, and then you search for it later, and it's like
it does not mean it's like exactly. It's like getting getting bad kanji tattoos. Why do you have vanilla ice cream taste like my dog's ass tattooed on your arm? You know, like so. But
because I like vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
Wait,
Jessica. Jessica Reloaded. I am on day shift for the next 2 weeks. So is she gone already?
I don't know, but I've talked to her. I think last month. Dude, right. Like I said, last year was hot fucking garbage for me, but this year's doing so much better, so I'm
glad it's doing better for somebody, because I've been cynical. I don't even think I drank that much. Okay, great. Thank you, Jeff. Okay, so the next 2 weeks I'm on daylight. I'll be out at 3:30 Eastern, so I'm looking forward to doing a Am I the Asshole? Those are awesome. Because I mean, I watched a couple of them. I didn't watch them live. I was just like,
dude, I like
VOD. She's getting into Reddit, so it's already going to be amazing.
Right, and I have a hard time staying up for, like, seriously. Like, I knew you were like going to be broadcasting the other night at like midnight, and I was like, I'm gonna stay up. And then fucking I laid down and that was it.
Oh, you mean the other night when I woke up
at
like the Max Murrah thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I like Max so much.
I still have to cut his decals, but yeah. I was like, most of that had to do with the fact that he's in Japan. So
right.
Who can be blamed? Wednesday night. Okay, Wednesday night is a day. Okay, all right.
And I really like Max Murrah
right now.
And then also Max Murrah, he's on with what's his name? Meme Copium quite frequently, and I like that guy as well.
What did I just see him on?
He does a lot of the Idaho.
Didn't I just see him on Yellow Flash?
Maybe he does a lot of the Idaho murder stuff, and he's like an Australian, and he speaks very frank and very monotone. But he's a good dude.
He's not real.
He's not real. No, he's good people, and I like him a lot. But him and
he seems okay. I mean, I sent him.
He's in Japan.
Oh, is he really? Well, Max Murrah's in Japan. You're saying Meme Copium is?
Yes, Meme Copium and Max Murrah are
same time zone.
Not only same time zone, but they've hung out before. And like Meme Copium's like, I was walking home, and it was going to be like 3 hours, and then I found a gate that wasn't quite closed, and then I found a couch, and I slept on the couch, and I'm like, what the fuck did you do? Oh, he's from New Zealand.
Dude, I would love to live in a country where you could just like find a random couch and lay down and go to sleep.
He was like, he was like walking home, and he's like, then I found a couch. And
Jessica, help me do the math. You're gonna start. you're gonna start. AITA.
Yes.
Hey
guys, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get.
Oh, dude, I'm very upset.
Gotcha, dude. At 3:00 is when I ring my bell because I have to go to sleep because otherwise I can't room tomorrow.
All right, look, I'm keeping track of you on Twitter.
Okay.
Do not disappoint me. When I reach out to you, I expect you to reach back.
Oh, you're talking to me now.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's talking to you.
I'm not talking to you, baby. I'm talking at you.
I was gonna say because he has no idea what my Twitter username is.
Okay,
I have one, but I don't.
I'm just saying. I wouldn't be hanging with you two this late if I didn't think you were interesting.
Yes, sir. And you know what? You're interesting yourself. I really do.
I work really hard at that.
I saw the invite and I was like, "Ah, shit."
Well, I've been in your chat before.
Yeah, I know, but that's the thing I was saying before to Expert when he was on. Like, I need to have someone watching the chat for me because if I'm drawing or painting or whatever, like watch it. If you're into comic books at all, Sketchpad, I'm telling you, and I'm sure you've watched them before. Watch a Dave Finch video for any reason at all, any instruction. But watch one of his
Dave Finch in his chat.
Yeah, and then watch his live streams. Who's watching the chat?
Oh, Meredith. His wife. Yeah,
Meredith. Exactly. That's why. This is the only reason why that whole.
Yeah, I made her kind of snort when I told her. I asked him if his red Sonia was tracking mud because he didn't draw her feet.
when you say Dave Finch,
like,
I was
Dave Finch, not the director David Fincher.
Exactly. I was thinking of the director David Finch, the one who made
ER Fincher. Like You're thinking of David Fincher with an ER at the end.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I David Fincher is going to be a German last name because the ER means it's a job. David Finch, I don't know. I just know he's Canadian, and he's rocking some tattoos on that left hand. Fucker is drawing way better than me with a left hand than I am with my right hand. And there is something basically wrong with that.
I told him you
draw. I can't handle that. Like,
I know. I told him that too. He was laughing at me.
Flip the camera over so I can feel good about myself.
Because he was. I go, dude. I didn't know the artist on Ascension is a left-handed artist. It's like now I gotta burn my books.
I was gonna say, like, if you guys know any left-handed people, I don't like them either, and that includes my father. Man. And I write him letters every once in a while. So I'm like, listen here, you left-handed nobody. I'm just joking.
Word.
Mikey Mega. He draws waifus, you know, and he draws digitally. But he does reviews of tablets every now and again. And I remember that comment came because of him, because he flipped the tablet and he's like, you could work with it left-handed, you know, if you're a peasant and disabled like that.
Yeah.
And I started laughing, and people in his chat were giving him crap, and I'm like, oh no, that's a thing.
That's
like
a
even
real
when I was
thing,
in high school, we would always like get into it, left hands versus right hands.
Just one of those stupid arguments, you know, like it doesn't really matter
because I mean, when you left-handed is with firearms, left-handed is a deal. Like when my daughter started, I saw her start. She started using her left hand. I was like, you probably use your right hand, because there's always going to be those little things in life that left-handed people have to run into. Like, and one of them is when you go to shoot your gun and the thing and exactly, and the empty cartridge flies across your field of view. And if you're going to own a shotgun, it's going to have to be an Ithaca, because everything goes out the bottom.
I was going to say, doesn't Mossberg shoot right out the top? No, I'm thinking of a 50 Desert Eagle.
A lot of them do, but they're either going to go out the top.
Mossberg Riot does come out the top. It doesn't come out the side. There's one that comes out the top. My brother owned one like that.
Right.
Yeah, Mossberg 500, I think, but it doesn't really matter. I was also thinking of the Desert Eagle. The Desert Eagle is like such a crappy pistol, and people are like, "Oh my god, it's such a big scary."
I'm not a fan of its design either. When I went looking for a pistol, I went looking for the open slide Beretta 92 FS. But what I actually landed on was the Taurus 101. The PT 101 SS, the stainless steel open slide and 40 caliber with adjustable sights.
Oh, do you have
I just want a 1911.
Yeah,
I do too, but I want to make sure, like whoever the manufacturers.
Yeah.
Do not give me a single stack mag. Do not do that.
Exactly.
I was thinking of looking at Walther for my.
Well, for 40 caliber Smith & Wesson, Glock 22 is a full frame. Firearm, and they're cheap. But like
you're talking to artists. It has to be aesthetically pleasing, and there's something about that.
Weird and stupid, but at the same time, it's like $300.
Yeah, dude, I got that PT 101 SS for $500. It's got 2 magazines with it. Right next to it was a used 9mm Beretta. Nickel plated, 1 single stack mag for the same price. Used.
Someone who looked a lot like me may have grabbed one of those Glock 22s, but
no, we can still be friends. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, but also it's a full frame.
We can always be friends.
Be used by it used to be a service weapon, and it's one of those things that if you ever have to level it at someone, you know that it's going to do what it needs to do.
Exactly. It's like I've heard that phrase: Kimber is what you show your friends. Taurus is what you show your target.
Yeah, and then also with Glocks, you have this fun thing that's called forward battery assist.
Known for being bad guns, though.
It depends on which one you get.
Those are the Spanish guns, right? The Taurus.
Taurus is Brazilian.
Yeah,
Brazilian. There we go.
And it's, but one of the things with Glocks is you have this thing called forward battery assist, meaning you can push your gun into battery. You put your hand on the back of it and you push it forward. That a lot of pistols don't have. So you can put your hand on it and you can push it into battery. Forward battery assist, and even if you fire, it's not going to rip your thumb off or rip your hand off. You just have to cycle the weapon manually. And it's one of those things that, I've heard of people who got robbed delivering pizzas.
Yeah.
That they used forward battery assist, and they went boom, and they put their hand on the back of it, and they got one shot off of someone who tackled them. And they lived to tell the story. So,
there's something. I was watching John Wick 1 and 2. By the way, that was you guys are familiar with IMDb, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to introduce you to another site. I will put it in the private chat. Don't even give me that. Oh, I'm sorry. IMF. Sorry. Wrong.
He's
letter.
like, yeah, wait a minute. This is
yeah,
the
I know.
one.
They're like,
I don't need people.
All right, here it is.
My rig is a B450 Tomahawk Max with a 3700X, 32 gigs at 3200, and a 3060 with 12 gigs.
There we go.
I don't own any firearms, but if I were to, it would be
neither do I.
With
I own Nerf guns.
Yeah. Federal Hollow Point.
Check the chat for IMFDB. That is
IMFDB.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of the Internet Movie
on there?
The Internet Movie Database? IMDb, Internet Movie Database. IMDb. You've heard of that?
Yeah.
This is the IMFDB, Internet Movie Firearms Database. Every gun that's ever been used in every movie ever. So if you saw a movie like John Wick and you wanted to get a Nerf gun that looked like the guns that he had, you could consult the IMFDB and find out which one it was. And the bad guys. And all the other stuff. Did I just lose my channel? You guys are
you're
surprisingly quiet.
We're still here.
Right. Just saying, the Taurus 85, the Taurus 85 pistol that Malcolm Reynolds uses in Firefly, modified to look like a science fiction shoot 'em up weapon, as well as the mare's leg that his first officer Zoe uses. I love the mare's leg. I can't wait to own a mare's leg, a Nerf mare's leg. Anyone? Is it just me?
Dude, there was one gun that I really wanted. It was the.
I know. That's what all the girls say.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was a revolver that shot the 410. It was called the Judge or the Punisher or something like that.
Yeah.
I wanted to buy one of those, and then I heard that it was such a piece of shit that everyone fucking hated it, and I was like, "Oh man, oh wow, that's."
It looks good on it looks good on camera, but
it's a collector's gun. It's not a.
Yeah, it's not a keep yourself safe gun.
No,
it was one of those.
That's a marketing deal.
Man.
It's like that crack open single shot elephant cartridge.
The 410.
Yeah,
the 410 3 balls. Okay, whatever it does to a watermelon, that's great. It's all camera work. That's the same kind of shit that they do on Overhauling, where you put a hot rod together in 70 days, and the only way you have to judge it is by the TV cameras that are pointed at it.
Yeah, not how fast it drives.
No, well, I mean, get up close to that.
But
get up close to that finish and see how many pieces of dirt are in that clear.
Or just the gaps on the way that the body spacing is.
Yeah.
But for me, one shotgun that I would like to own is an over and under, because I like skeet shooting, and that's for me that's a hobby that I like. That really just kind of like activates the almonds. You know, like that's one of those things that makes me want to buy more shotgun rounds and clay pigeons and shit.
Yeah, I haven't done that in a while, but I've been wanting to.
Dude, it's so much fun.
Yeah. I got my son the automatic reloader for his birthday. And I I got it. We set it up, and I was like, oh my God, I hope you can fit this on the back of your Toyota. Because, once you put one of those things together, they take up a lot of space. The throwers, those automatic throwers with a little car battery, it's electric. Have you ever seen one?
Yeah. They take some space. I've been seeing the electric one.
I mean, it's like weird, awkward looking robot thing. And I'm like, I hope you can make it home with this, either in your trunk or your back seat.
See,
it hadn't occurred to me.
The last time I went clay shooting was there was a dude, and we were, we both had earmuffs on, but it was one of those things of pull.
Yes.
Right. And then I'd scream pull, and then he would pull, and then I would clap one, and then I would clap the second one, and it was so much fun. And I was playing with a pump shotgun too, but I would like an over. Yeah, I'd really like an over and under
Yeah, because there's no because you can keep your sights on the target.
Yeah.
When you go to yank and rack another round in,
when you pull the forearm back,
it's good if you can do it. I mean, if you can do it, it's good. That's decent skill.
But an over and under would be so much more fun. So
over-unders have a lot more, like the really nice ones with all that engraving and the filigree and stuff and the brass on the side.
And you're talking about $1,000 for a shotgun, and
those really pretty ones. I can't believe anybody would actually rack around through them. Like, aren't you supposed to just put this up over the mantle and look at it once in a while?
Yeah,
right. They look like old time muskets. That's how long they're.
The ones though. What I'm talking about, where like there's they engrave a picture of a dog and a duck and this whole scene.
That's the hilarious thing, because everybody's like, why all muskets are old time? I'm like, no, they actually still make muskets. They're still musket hunting up in the Northeast.
So many people that don't know anything about guns because they've never bothered to walk into an honest to God sporting goods store. And I don't mean like Dick's. You know what I mean? Like I mean like a gun store. Or go to a gun show.
See, gun shows are something that I kind of avoid, but I've gone to gun stores and I had
go to a gun show. Do yourself a
Germs,
favor.
are you on a registry? Is that why you can't go to a gun show?
Yeah, really?
Go to a gun show.
Wait a minute. When I walk in there with handcuffs on, they're like, look at me.
Because it's not just that. I mean, there's like T-shirts, there's jerky. You can get fudge at some of them. Like we just had one up here not too long ago. I ended up missing it because I slept in, but they're fun. It's not too far. It's not too far. You can get decent ammo.
They have socialist groups that join the ones here in Arizona, called the John Brown Gun Club. John Brown was he was a prolific racist, and they're like, but he freed slaves. It's like, no, he started a war because he wanted to start a war.
I was gonna say, isn't he the guy that burned that building down during the whole race that started?
He killed 100 and something black people. But John Brown Gun Club, that guy moved to Arizona.
Are they running the gun? Are they running the show?
No, they don't run the show, but they do have a booth.
And
whenever I see them, I want to,
I
get awful thoughts in my head.
What you could do is buy a gun from the table next to those people and then look at them and do that Robert De Niro and Meet the Parents thing, where you point your fingers at your eyes and then point at them with those two fingers like, I'm watching you.
Dude, I used to do
or
that.
Just find all of your black friends and you all go and buy a gun at the table next to them at the same time.
And it's funny because the only or the black people that I know are people that I used to work with and are people that are like good friends. Like I have them friends on LinkedIn. I have them friends on Facebook, and it would be like, hey, Charles.
The only thing that
Charles, let's go.
honest to God, and this is the God's honest truth. That the thing that really sucks is the only thing that is bad about having black friends is that you have to designate them as your black friends.
Yeah, and like seriously, like
you don't even really have to. It's just that it's that thing that happens.
Yeah, and for me, when I was leaving my last position, I was telling them, I was like, dude, they designated me a special position because of my technical ability, and I was like, dude, I don't know how much you're making, but this is what I'm making. And he was like, what the fuck? And he'd been there for like 4 years, and he was like,
what you like before you moved on, like, this is what I was making in the position that I was working right next to you.
Yes.
Okay.
And I was like, dude. This
that's actionable. I would think that is actionable, unless it was a thing where he was working there for less time than you were, and
no, he'd been there for 4 years, and I'd been there for like an entire year. And then after I moved, I was like, yeah, it's not worth an hour drive plus an hour each commute. 12-hour days.
Oh my God!
An hour in each direction.
Don't go further. Like, I can't stay.
Dude. I seriously, like, at the end of my
when somebody said 12-hour days to me, it's like my mom telling me we're having lima beans with dinner and I have to eat all of them. Good.
All right, man. I really gotta go though. I'll see y'all.
Me too.
All right, stay in touch, man. I gotta. Yeah, we all gotta go. Jessica, please send me some sort of. Honestly, like I've got it in my phone when you're going to be doing your "Am I the Asshole?" I'm down for that. Sketchpad, Germs, great time. Thanks for hanging out, you guys.
Hey, buddy, it was nice. It was nice talking to you.
You closed the bar. What can I say?
Thank you. And then Eagle Rider. I know she's not here right now, but you're a gem and I really appreciate you. So
there you go.
Just don't ever think that we don't like you or anything like that. You're good people.
Don't think that Professor don't think that Germs doesn't like you.
Yep. But take care, everyone. Be well.
It's the dumbest thing ever. Like anyways, whatever. No, you're okay. She's okay. She's all right. She's all right. But don't think that Germs doesn't like you.
Yeah, she's nice people. I like talking to her. But also, Jessica and Ashnader was on here too.
Yeah, I know, man. They showed up. That was nice. This is one of those impromptu streams. We got Latina in Cali. And with the awesome, with the awesome avatar, what can I say? I'm building a presence. The word is going to get out. Dave is a nice guy. They're all going to want to come in here.
Everyone's going to find out that
everyone's going to find out the big secret that Dave is a nice guy. and then
I totally hate Jessica's guts. Yes, 100%, 300%.
Germs, Toad, say it's like. No, but he hates your guts in a good way. You know what I mean? Not in the way where you feel bad about it afterwards. He hates your guts in the way where you're like, yeah, maybe I could make a change for the better.
But no, she's good people as well. Hey,
no, I know.
Man, I just want to say, hey, thanks for inviting me, and I really appreciate it. And I hope that you take care. Means. And dude, sorry for being a mopey piece of shit beforehand.
I don't remember that.
Okay, like everything else is kind of like closed ranks. And
do I need to go back and listen? I don't know what this means. You're good. You're good. I'm sorry. What does this mean? Dave, I miss your... She's probably talking about the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's talking about the dog.
Yeah. I'm just saying that, hey, you know, like last year really sucked for me, but this year's looking out for being better. So,
man, I hope, man. I was suffering from a severe case of this of the cynicals. I mean, I didn't even want to sell it. I haven't. This is the first time that I even had a sip of beer since Sunday, because I am not looking forward to what 2023 has in store. I'm just saying, I wasn't even like celebrating or anything at all. Like, just I'll have my smoothie and some breakfast and go to work and come home and work on this thing and whatever. But whatever, it's the weekend.
Man, last year I buried 3 dogs, an uncle,
3 dogs,
half of my foot, and yeah, it was 3 dogs. It was Scout, Star, and Destiny.
That sucks, man.
Destiny and May and Star.
Would you like a dog that will turn you into not a dog person? Because you can have mine. He does it to everybody.
I have a puppy now, and I love my puppy so much. And even though she shits on the floor.
No, for real, though. The next time, if I'm on a stream and you're on it and you can find the puppy, like turn the camera on and show us the puppy.
Deal.
All
Promise.
Right. Okay.
Hey, man, take care. Be well. And everyone else who's listening, take care. Be well.
Cool from New Year's resolution was on his stream. I said nothing because life sucks. I was actually thinking about doing some push-ups here and there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to push myself too far. I do want to finish the book, but other than that, I mean, I might do a sit-up, you know, but I'm married. Who do I need to impress? I'm done. Next time. Oh, she's seen your puppy and it's over with.
Yes. I brought her about to happen one time. We're gonna have to cut her in half, and then we'll each keep.
Oh, you're gonna do the King Solomon thing? That's not good. Oh, come on!
Oh no!
Everybody, what's a good sign off? Everybody, read your Bible. Jesus is coming back soon, and look busy.
Hey,
how's that?
All I want to say is I hope that everyone takes care and be well. And shit sucks sometimes, but just try to bear it. And it really fucking sucks sometimes, and I can't take that away from anyone.
I've always considered shit to be more of an out than a sucks in. So
yeah,
you know what I'm saying. If you're gonna suck anything, suck someone's face.
Yeah, right.
And make sure it's a girl. If you're a guy, go hetero. Right. Flaming hetero.
Flaming hetero. I like that.
Flaming hetero.
But hey, it was so nice to talk to you, ID Crisis.
Yeah,
and
I enjoyed
it. Jessica, you were a big surprise. I totally did not expect you here, but it's very nice to talk to you. And
me neither.
I'll say Sketchpad just because that's what your username is here.
In honor of in honor of your sidekick kid.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Sketchpad.
I know it's Sketchbook, but I'm gonna say Sketchpad. So
no, I'm gonna let's get some fan art working for the Canadian Shield. Looks like a cool character.
Oh yeah,
maybe that'll be the next thing.
That's Cross Comics' character.
That's right. Uh-oh. What happened? Oh, I'm way off my game here. I totally scrolled way into the past part of the chats. Okay. You should go to bed because I can't take it anymore.
All right.
And Jessica, thanks for showing up.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man, this is if there's an island of misfit toys, then this is the island of misfit toys that couldn't make the island of misfit toys. All right. Take it easy, guys.
Night, brother.
It is time to go. Sweet
Night,
dreams.
Jessica.